Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going all right, man. I really want to buy a new computer. I'm getting so frustrated with this thing. Not that it's like ancient or anything, but it's starting to show. You know what I mean? It's like it starts to show its age a little bit. Little things creep in here and there, and you feel like you got issues with it all the time. Like I've
You
got
know,
some money put back. I'm ready to buy one. It's just they're not putting out what I want just yet. So
I feel kind of the same way because the thing is that recently I think Apple were saying that they have the new M5 chip for some kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
something, and I saw it and I really want to get it, but I can't bring myself to do it. First of all, it doesn't cost $1, so it is something that you have to actually spend on,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's not that what I have now is bad or not working. It's just kind of I saw all the hype about it, and there was a part of me that kind of wanted to get it. So I'm sort of in the same boat as you, but I don't know. I'm still gonna work with whatever I have for now. But
Oh,
if
yeah,
you went,
like, what I've got is it works, it's fine, it's functioning, but there's also, like, there's times when I feel you start to feel like you're running into the best that computer can give you, you know? Like, you're kind of hitting a
yeah,
wall with performance, with different stuff, and it just seems to be happening more and more often lately, and I'm like, "Oh my god." I've got that money put back. I just need like I don't just want the like they have the 14-inch that they put out that just came out, but I need the bigger screen for a lot of the stuff that I do. I want that bigger the 16-inch screen. So I'm just kind of waiting like, okay, when is put it out, please. Let's go.
yeah, exactly. So I understand. I understand. And always when you
Ah.
have something and you've had it for a minute, and then they roll out something new, you're always thinking to yourself, "Oh, I don't have that new thing."
Oh yeah, yeah. It's there's always that temptation to be like, "Oh, I want the new hotness. I want that new thing that's
You
coming out."
want that new thing, even if it's just
Yeah.
something minor that it has that you don't have. You kind of get annoyed. And
Yaida says, "Get the 3D without glasses monitor." The Apple, oh gosh, what do they call that thing? The reality headset thing. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's like $3,700. It's not even like a full fledged computer. Like I couldn't run any of the video editing software or any of the stuff that I need to be able to do with it. It's basically just an iPad for your face. Yeah, no, no thanks.
well, get the
I mean,
3D without the glasses monitor.
yeah, yeah,
You know that I have like an Oculus or Meta Quest or whatever that thing is.
yeah.
I have one. Somebody gave me one as a gift. I don't even think it's like the latest model. It was interesting. I played with it a little for like a few months. I actually would play with it here and there, but somehow at some point I don't know what happened, and I stopped playing with it. And I think it's a cool idea, but it would really be nice if they can make it a lot more lighter and not as
Oh
like
yeah,
it
absolutely.
it needs to be something that you're just putting some like it feels like eyeglasses and or something like that. It has to be that light and that breezy, and then I think maybe you got something.
Yeah, and actually, there's plenty of companies out there that are working on that kind of stuff. It's actually kind of funny because recently, I at
Barf goggles, yeah, Phantom Monk. I know what you mean.
yeah, to some people, yeah. I actually we have the what was the Sony PlayStation VR thing, and it was all right. I'm not super sensitive to that like motion sickness stuff, so it doesn't bother me. There were some fun kind of cool games on it, but it there were never like enough games on it that it was like, oh, this is such an amazing purchase. I'm so glad I got this. Right? There were lots of things like that, and then, but I did actually have I had a friend that introduced me to these new display glasses that they have, and there's like a whole bunch of these that are starting to come out that where they really are more like just sunglasses that have displays in them. And there's a bunch of different companies that are working on all sorts of different things, and some of them have some like augmented reality, virtual reality stuff built into them. Some of them are really just like basically you put them on and you just got a giant screen in front of you, right? There's some interesting stuff out there. I think we're going to start to see some pretty cool, augmented reality things that are a little more reasonable. Like they sit, more just on your face like a pair of sunglasses. I think
That'll
we're
be pretty
really going to
cool.
start to see that like in this next year. So,
Right now, though, you do have glasses that they, like, film. Uh,
oh yeah, yeah.
I think there's people that walk around with those glasses, like, there's this guy that he reviews, like, food at restaurants, and I think he wears these kind of glasses that I think they film him as he's eating them. I don't know. It's strange, I don't wanna be mean, it's a channel that everybody likes that some guy is, like, eating at restaurants. There's something about this guy that annoys me, and yet I find myself watching his stupid reviews and getting annoyed at the same time. I'm just a weird person, though. I don't know how
Yeah.
we got to talking about all of this. Speaking of weird, there was a meeting with Trump and Xi, correct?
Yeah, I believe they did have, some meetings, and they're saying there's some deals that are out there now, or they're close to having some deals. I didn't see a lot of the news today. It was actually a pretty busy day for me. So let's
Everybody
let's
was sort
uh
of putting like a different spin on it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Some would claim, oh, like Trump made all these concessions, or no, like Trump is like the best. He told him about said he would he would like test missiles 5 minutes before the meeting, or all this
Oh,
other
I
kind of
saw
stuff.
that. Saying,
So
"Go out
yeah,
there
I
and
don't.
test some nukes before I meet with the Chinese." Like,
Right,
"What?
we're gonna
What the
test our
hell?"
nukes now. It was a bizarre, kind of thing, but things are usually bizarre with Trump, and of course, with
Yeah.
this was always gonna be a strange thing,
Unconventional. That's the way I like to put it.
unconventional.
Things are a
So
little unconventional.
yeah, I guess, let's do you have any kind of interpretation to what? Because also I noticed that they were like, "Okay, well, now China is gonna immediately buy soybeans," and that was a big deal because I know there were a lot of farmers that, were hurt by this, whole
Yeah,
tariff
absolutely, yeah.
situation
That,
because the Chinese wouldn't buy their soybeans, but now they've committed to buy their soybeans, and I guess Trump was like, lowering the tariff from 57% to 47%. I don't know, just all this weird stuff. Uh I mean, personally, if it means that those soybeans, people are gonna buy them and it's gonna help farmers, I'm all about that. I understand what Trump is doing with these tariffs, and I understand that he's annoyed that China always seems to take advantage of everybody, and I can understand Trump's perspective, but at the same time, I didn't like seeing that the farmers were losing out, so there was a way to make those guys buy their soybeans. It kind of makes me happy. I don't know if it's good on I don't know if in the bigger picture it's good, but I think it sounded good to me when I heard about it.
yeah, let's see if I can find us a story here. Um, hmm. Associated Press. Oh no, that didn't. That's not the story.
It's a lot of other stuff popped up. While you're looking for it, I will say
Yeah.
that there's a story that Kim Kardashian claims that the 1969 Apollo 11 landing was fake. And normally, I don't align with her about anything. I have nothing, I don't align with her on anything. But I can't help but think that I've always felt that there was something fishy about the Apollo trips. I know how terrible that sounds. Like it sounds, it's uncharacteristic of me because like I growing up was so excited. I mean, I wasn't alive when it happened, but I'm saying I was so excited that Americans reached the moon and all that stuff. And I really was excited growing up. And as I was growing older, and some people were saying, hey, we're not sure that actually happened. For many years, I'm like, how dare you say? I was like Greta Thunberg. But then I think that there was some time that I actually sat and started investigating more and more. And at the end, let's put it this way. I can't tell you with certainty at this point. Like if it turned out that there was some kind of strange thing there, I could end up believing it. I really don't want it to be the case. I hope it's not that, but that's why when I saw this, I probably would disagree with Kim Kardashian about a lot of things, but I can't completely blame her for this statement.
How dare you?
Probably now everybody's, like, jumping ship. They're like Disney with Doctor Who in our stream, people are all probably
What?
upset.
Yeah. Dang it. I had an article and then this is one from the AP that we can
The
look at
space
here.
race was real for sure, and I'll tell you what, I don't have any doubt that they sent a spaceship into space. The only thing is that I'm not 100% sure what happened after that spaceship went to space, and I'll just leave it at that. There's
Get it.
even footage and things that, like, were uncovered later on that raised some questions. But again, I guess I can't say for certainty one way or another. I've heard this side, I've heard that side. It's one of those conspiracy theories. I'm not like a flat earther. Most of the conspiracy theories I don't believe in. The ones that I believe are fishy is Lee Harvey Oswald, always a fishy one to me. Uh, MLK and RFK kind of fishy. Those seem like especially fishy, those three. John Lennon, less fishy, but a little bit, but less. And moon landing, I'm sort of a 50-50 on. I don't know. I go back and forth on that one.
Yeah. Well, uh,
Not that I'm saying that this is how it
yeah.
happened, but if it happened, if such a thing happened, and I'm not saying that it did, then probably what would have happened is that they would have had film in advance that makes it seem like they're on the moon. They send them up into space, the furthest they can send without maybe the Allen radiation belt or whatever. They send them as far as they can that they really are in space. Then they project the film whatever they have, and then they return and somehow they pulled off something of a hybrid that they really did go far into space, but maybe they didn't reach the thing. That's what I was thinking throughout the years. I can't prove it, and I don't know. It's not that I can tell you decisively one way or
Yes.
another.
Well,
I'm a strange man.
over on Rumble, we have the lovely Elizabeth Quince back with us this
Yes.
evening, and she's saying, "Say that to Buzz Aldrin's face."
You know,
Do you know the famous?
yeah,
You seen the
somebody said
famous
that
clip
and he
of?
punched him and he punched him. Even that reaction seemed odd to me. You know what I mean? If you really got there, what do you need to start punching that guy in the face? You could just chuckle and laugh. It's like if somebody said that to me, that wouldn't be my reaction. But that's again my personal thing.
Maybe he just had enough. Maybe that was. Oh no, something is locked up. Are you still with me?
I am still with you. Yeah,
Okay.
what's locked up?
Oh no, just one of my pages just
Here, deal between the
locked
US
up.
and China is undoing damage from a self-inflicted trade war. Yeah, I'm sure that all those like newspapers are just going to be like saying how stupid Trump is and how great like China is. That from the few that I look, they're all like pushing that same narrative. All of them are really going all out to try to make Trump look bad, but I will say this. I'm not saying that I understand all the ins and outs and if every decision that he made was good, but I will and I also I always say this. It's not that I have posters of Trump on my wall, but he's a guy trying to get a job done here and it's not completely like out of it's not unreasonable to think that China has taken advantage of the US.
Oh yes, no, they
It's
they
it
abs- they
that is
absolutely have.
not some,
Yeah.
like, weird tinfoil thing. The fact that he came into office and he's like, "China's winning too much here and taking advantage of too many situations," that wasn't necessarily something that was wrong. Whether or not whatever he's doing here is going to change that in any way, I don't know. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. But it's not my position to just sit and because like there's certain newspapers that do like or don't like a president that based on that you decide if something that he's doing is good or not. At least he's trying to do something. I mean, what did we have with Biden? He didn't try to do anything. He wasn't even there if you think about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, just kind of gave them whatever they wanted.
I don't think he like
Yeah.
his I don't know how to say this nicely. I don't think that, like, within whatever was going on in his mind, he had, like, the bandwidth to even give some thought to this whole situation. I think that's the best way anybody could describe it. I was very polite.
Very, very polite.
So, yeah, Caleb says Buzz punched that guy because he kept harassing him. I don't know the whole story. If somebody's harassing you, you can punch him. Uh, even if something happened, just so you know, I have no ill feelings towards Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and anybody else. Even if it turns out that there was a strange thing going on, and I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, uh, if something like that happened, it means that the U.S. felt that that's what they needed to do at that moment, and people like Buzz and like Neil Armstrong that actually went into space. If they had to do a little bit of fudging and that's what was necessary at that moment and that's what they were told, I don't have any issue. They did whatever they did for their country. So I still hope it's real. I hope they really walk there and it's all great. Like I don't want to be a party pooper.
Well, we will reportedly, at least if everything goes to plan, be sending some, sending some people back to the moon next year. Not actually landing on the surface. The first mission will just be an orbit, but they will do an orbit and they'll be testing a whole bunch of systems to make sure that they're all functioning the way that they're supposed to and everything. So yeah, well, we will start some of that mission as long as everything moves forward as is expected next year. So
That would be nice.
that will
I,
be
I think
interesting.
that if I see people on the moon, then it'll make me feel better about this whole situation. The fact that so many years have gone by and there's nobody on the moon since is just really
Yeah.
strange to me. But
Well,
again,
uh, there's nothing there. That's kind of what we found out. If you do believe, as I do, that yes, we did go to the moon, and you hear the NASA scientists talk about like what they actually got. They got a bunch of rocks back, and they found out that the moon was insanely hostile. That all of the dust on the moon is actually because there's no weather there. All of the little dust particles are basically razor sharp bits of crystals and stone and destroy equipment, destroy their spacesuits very quickly. Very, 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 very dangerous environment. And it was just, versus sending people into orbit where we can have a space station and they can do stuff in zero gravity there, do science and stuff there. Actually sending people all the way to the moon for that just isn't worth it because it's so much further. You have to take so much more in supply and fuel and everything to get out there, and then the actual environment there is incredibly dangerous for everything that you do on the moon. So it's just like, yeah, it's not worth the time. But again, that is what has been said by a variety of different NASA engineers as to why we kind of stopped. It just wasn't worth it anymore. We weren't learning anything new, and the ideas of like building a base out there or anything like that were just at way outside of our reach of what we could manage to do or afford at the time. So
by the way, I want to highlight this comment. Caleb Levine, price if the moon was made of cheese, would you eat it? LOL. Did I have a lore story. Did I ever tell you this story? I don't know if I did. I must have told this to somebody.
the lore story about moon cheese.
Yes, about
No,
moon cheese.
I don't think I remember that one.
This one is sort of one that, like, even in my memory, it's sort of vague, but it's interesting. It's an interesting one. Have you ever heard of the band The Prodigy?
Yeah,
They had some, like, fire starter. They had these
yeah,
kind of like
Prodigy.
it was like electric jungle type of electronic '90s type of thing that it
Yeah,
was. So there's like songs today that are kind of anthems when it comes to the Prodigy, and I think that one of their main guys passed away in recent years, like the main guy there. In any case, what happened is that I used to work. I've said this before that I used to bring talent for events. Sometimes there would be event, maybe a special event. Somebody would need talent, and I was sort of a guy that can bring the talent and set up a deal where the talent would perform there or things like that. So somebody called me and they wanted to bring Prodigy, and they were willing to pay Prodigy a good amount of money to go and perform. And it was some like high profile, relatively high profile event. It would have been a really good deal for me as well as the person putting it together. And I needed to find the Prodigy to ask them if they're willing to do this event. But I don't know if I found them at a strange time. This wasn't like at the height of their career. This was like at a time like we're talking about somewhere, I don't know if to say 2010 or something like that. So basically, they weren't bums then, but they weren't in the same height they were like in the 90s. So in any case, I started making a lot of calls, and I ended up getting to some house where there was some lady that lived there that she was either a wife or a girlfriend of one of the people in the band. uh, at the end of the day, I'll cut the story short. I Somebody was on the phone, and I believe it was a member of the Prodigy. I don't know which one. And the person is like, "Hello, yes." And I said, "Listen, I'm so glad to be talking to you. There's a good amount of money that you're being offered if you guys are willing to get on a plane and do this performance like here and there at this date, at that date, and like they'll pay you this and they'll pay you that, and you first class, and you'll do this and you'll do that." And I sell them, I say all this great stuff, and then this English guy that probably just did like 20 lines or something, he says, "Oh yeah, you're gonna give us all of that?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, and the moon is full of cheese." And then he hangs up on me. That's my Prodigy story, and I was never
Wow.
able to get them back on the phone. I was never able to talk to anybody else again. That was my first, and final conversation with one of the members of the Prodigy, whoever that member was, that said, that the moon was made of cheese.
Well, all right then. Moon cheese, and that's how, that's how he turned down a paying gig. Fantastic.
You know, I kind of respected it. There was a part of me that chuckled, that I said to myself, like, I guess they always seem kind of bonkers to me, and I'm like, okay, well, at least it's not a it's not a game or anything.
Yeah, yeah, I know you had the right impression the whole time, yeah. They're a
Mary says,
little
"Don't
strange.
forget the super chats." Oh, okay, I didn't
Yeah,
even
there's a
see the
couple of
thing.
super chats we need to get to. Yep.
Oh, great. Okay, so let me do this. It's from the Dead Man. The Dead Man, I love your super chats. Uh, that sounded weird, but I meant every word of it. Okay, so the Dead Man, I'm about to share this thing.
He
You have to
dreams
admit that
he
that is a strange
dreams about your
Prodigy
super
story.
chats.
Is that not?
That's really funny,
You
actually.
didn't know how the moon with cheese was gonna,
Nope.
come in there. I wish I could do a better impression of the guy that was on the phone with me, but I can just tell you that it was a bizarre conversation.
Nope, you still there, Bryce?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
I'm here.
okay. Sorry. That went quiet there for a second.
Wait a second. Can you see what I shared here?
Yes, yeah.
Happy Halloween, Price and R2. Thank you very much, the Dead Man. Happy
Yeah.
Halloween to you. The Dead Man, there is no dark side of the moon. It's all dark. Fair enough. And I want to address something. Istophobo said, Price is insulting the work of tens of thousands of engineers and scientists that work to make the Apollo program a success. It's actually very bad form. I want to say that even getting the thing into orbit or into space or whatever it is, a lot of work obviously went into all of it. I'm not taking away from the thousands of people that worked and served their country and did a good job. I also even said that the astronauts that did go into space, I appreciate their work as well. I was just saying that I always wondered to myself something about the final part of that mission, but at the same time, it's not to take away, it's not, and not to disrespect anybody that did the work here. It's not that like, it's not that there was nothing, and then it's all some weird like hoax. It's more. in my personal opinion, if it ever gets proven one way or another, then I would just think that maybe there's a part of it that wasn't accurate. But it doesn't take away from the fact that even at that point of time, getting rockets into space and all the work that was done, it could be that they also went to the moon. I just, like I said, I'm a strange person, and that's the only place where I have a bit of tinfoil. But I don't know for sure. And you know what? I'm really, really hoping that in this case, I am the tinfoil man, and everything is
Yeah.
100% above board. I want that to be true, and I hope it is.
Yep.
Uh, yes, you are. You are.
Yep.
Is this like me
Good.
being a douche again? Is the
Yeah,
Phobos?
that's
I'm
what I
sorry.
say. It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry, Ista.
Um,
Nobody's perfect. The Prodigy is an awesome band. And then Firestarter, yeah. And in any case, people can have weird tinfoil theories. I don't get upset at people. Sometimes they're not not everybody agrees on everything. But I respect you as to Phobos, and I wouldn't go and purposely disrespect people that serve their country. I'm not suggesting that. Anyhow, what's the next thing? What were we talking about? We were talking about Trump and Xi. Was there any more anything to say about that, or that one's
sure, we
already
can we
done?
can do that after I show you this photo.
Okay.
So this was
Okay.
taken by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, a newer drone orbiting satellite that's was mapping the moon. So this was taken in 2012. So this is an orbital photo of the landing site. So there's the
I'm with
limb.
you 100%. I
You
hope
can see these are the foot tracks from them moving around. Here's a bunch of their equipment that they left behind, including the LRR and the PCEP. These were scientific instruments that are actually still used today. One of them, you literally you it's just a mirror. You can reflect lasers off of it, and they can measure the distance between
I
us
I
and the
am
moon with
I
that
want this to be true,
instrument.
and I'm very, very hopeful. There will never be a case I'll be more happy to be wrong about my tinfoil stuff. I absolutely want it to be true, and maybe it is, and it's fine.
It's the lizard people that are convincing you that it didn't happen because they want you to be subservient to the lizard people.
Like I said, I was like Ista, I was like Ista for many years, and then I don't know, I started watching some videos and stuff, and something at least got me thinking. But again, you sometimes watch these videos and they're done in a very convincing way. They're meant to press certain buttons and convince you of certain things. And maybe I was duped, and maybe I'm a tinfoil man. But let's go on with what you were saying.
Yeah. So anyway, all of the wild crazy tariffs that they've been talking about, that Trump has been talking about, and then some of the retaliatory tariffs going back and forth, whatever. All of that really seems to have been resolved. Now let's see. This is from Busan, South Korea. Lovely country, by the way. I would love to visit South Korea someday. I have a friend that lived over there for many years. Uh, Three-digit tariffs are off the table, but import duties on each other are higher than in January. Rare earth materials will flow more smoothly, but China's put an export permit regime that it can tighten or loosen as needed. Port fees will go away, but only for a year. And Beijing is again buying U.S. soybeans after it had abruptly cut off American farmers. After months of posturing, arguing, and threatening, U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping have essentially turned back the clock. While the meeting between the two leaders was hailed by Trump as a roaring success, the agreement that came out of it may only serve to undo some of the damages Trump has inflicted with his trade war upon his return to the White House. It's hard to see what major gains the U.S. has made in the bilateral relationship relative to where things stood before Trump took office, said Eswar Prasad, an economist at Cornell. So, there has been new agreements, new things that that have said like at least for like we're gonna say all right, we're gonna set things aside. We're gonna put a lot of the tariffs and retaliatory tariffs and stuff. We're gonna put those aside. We're gonna start allowing some of the rare earth minerals to be sold again in the U.S. We're going. That's what China is saying. They're going to allow exports of those, and that they're going to start buying soybean again from the U.S. And so, yeah, it's starting to improve. It's starting to cool. I think at this point, uh, you know, Trump, he believes, and I think he is right in a lot of these areas when it comes to trade with China, that they really have been taking us for a ride, right? They have been allowed to do all sorts of stuff in the market without uh, any kind of retaliation. I don't even like the word retaliation, but in any kind of response from the U.S. in the market. There's been issues where they've been dumping cheap steel on the market. There's been issues where they're buying up a lot of interest in different companies in the U.S., and it's just causing all kinds of problems. And so, yes, uh, I think we needed to do something. We needed to work on trying to make a deal that was a bit more equitable between the two countries, and not just sit back and just let them do whatever they want. Which was kind of the approach for a long time. It's kind of funny because you'll remember they were screaming bloody murder about the increase in tariffs that happened during Trump's first term when he increased tariffs on certain things. But guess who kept all those tariffs? Biden. For all 4 years he was there, he left those in place, right? So, clearly they weren't doing that much damage to us and to our relationship with China. He's been a little ridiculous, I think, with some of these tariffs. "Oh, well, oh, if they're gonna push it to 50, we're gonna push it to 150. If they're gonna push it to 150, we're gonna push it to 175." Like, this sort of posturing,
Yeah, some of it
ridiculous
was
thing.
dumb, but it's okay. I mean,
But there's a lot of other stuff. It says, let's see, what else do they have to say here? This was Chuck Schumer was saying, if anything, things are worse. Prices have gone up. China has agreed to nothing of substance that will improve trade between our nations. Adding that Trump started a trade war, created a giant mess for businesses, consumers, soybean farmers, and then he celebrates for trying to clean up the very mess he created in the first place. Well, that's Chuck Schumer for you, right? The mess that he created, I don't know about you, but there I haven't seen this mess. It hasn't changed anything for me in particular, other than
no, no, it
you
hadn't
know
been.
some
I
uh, some dirt cheap products that were made in China that were crummy and mostly just garbage. That normally would be made over there and shipped over here. Now there are better products being made over here to replace them, right? So I don't know. I'm not seeing the massive damage that his supposed trade war was was doing to the country and to our trade. So
Yeah, I don't really know what he wanted, what Chuck Schumer wants. I think that overall, it was maybe some stuff that he was doing that wasn't popular, and he's doing some stuff that's sort of he's taking risks on one hand, but on the other hand, he was trying to shake things up, and a lot of countries seem to have agreed to change some of those trade agreements. So I think he got something out of it. I don't think it was all bad.
no, he absolutely did. We've made some much more favorable trade agreements between us and a number of different countries while this has been going on. And it's funny because I mean we're not even a year in to this new term yet. And a lot of this that they said our economy was going to collapse in June, July, right? They said everything's going to fall apart and Trump's going to be thrown out of office and also, they were claiming all of these things were going to happen. And so far not happening. In fact, we have massive trade, you know, improvements. We've gotten significant income, revenue coming into the government from these tariffs that's helping to, offset a lot of our expenditures and stuff. And so, yeah, and then people said, well, all of that, you see, all of those companies, they're just going to pass all of those tariffs right on to their customers. That's not how it works, right? Now,
Right.
over an extended period of time, depending on how high those tariffs are, depending on, trade between countries and so on, potentially, yes, some of those could get passed on. But companies, generally are not just going to turn around and say, well, they put a bigger tariff on us, so we're just going to raise our prices, because then you'll have another competitor who says, oh, well, they raised the prices on us, or they raised the tariffs on us, but we're going to keep our prices the same. So we're going to sell our product for cheaper than the other guy. And then they went over a bunch of customers because they kept their, they might have lowered the margins they were making on their product, but they kept their customers happy. And so you get people coming in and buying those products instead. So yeah, it's yeah. eh, so far, none of this has been the incredible, you know, world-changing, country-changing thing that a lot of people on the Trump side of things and Trump himself would claim that it would be, and it also hasn't been a country-ending, administration-ending disaster like a lot of those on the left and outside the administration wanted us to think it was going to be. So, and we continue now. We continue to get rate cuts in the interest rate, and
Yeah,
so
Jerome Powell
the
finally lowered some rates today.
economy is improving. We're beating a lot of the estimates on
You're right, Jerome
inflation.
Powell finally lowered something today.
Yeah, I think this is now the second one, and I think they're
Right.
planning for at least one more before the end of the year. So, yeah.
I still
Uh,
think Trump is unhappy with him. When does Jerome Powell leave? Isn't that like in when is he supposed to be out of
I
here?
think it's middle of next year, I think is when his appointment is over. Yeah. Um, Phantom Monk over on Rumble said it was an excuse to raise prices. Yes, a bunch of countries did use tariffs, even though they weren't actually facing those tariffs or weren't, affected by those tariffs in significant ways. Used those as an opportunity to raise prices. Specifically, we know that happened with like the Nintendo Switch 2. We know that happened with the Xbox. Of course, uh, Xbox is a rapidly collapsing brand. There was some news today about Xbox saying, "Oh, their next console would do this or that or whatever." I'm like, "There's not gonna be a next console, and if there is, nobody's gonna buy the damn thing." That company and that, or at least that branch of the company, is an absolute free fall. So yeah, there were definitely some businesses out there that used those tariffs as excuses to raise prices, but
For sure.
not a lot of them.
We have another super chat from the dead man, and I just want to highlight it here. Hey Norm, if the moon were made of cheese, would you eat it? I don't really have the context for that, but it sounds good.
I'm guessing that's I'm guessing that's a Cheers joke,
The Cheers one?
given Norm.
Hey
Yeah,
Norm, if the moon was made of cheese, would you eat it? Is that like Cliffy?
yeah, could be.
Anyhow,
No,
thank you.
Cliff would go on to explain at great length, and completely wrong, uh, how the moon was in fact made of cheese, and how
I
some
see.
ancient culture worshipped it because of its cheese. Or whatever.
Well, anyhow, thank you, the dead man. The 199, then the
Yes, thank you.
499, then another 499. It's really greatly appreciated. Thank you, dead man. We really appreciate that. You're awesome. Thank you for always supporting us. We do really, really appreciate it. Thank you. May of next year, price of reason. That's when that guy is leaving. So yeah, did it influence the stock market positively? Did something positive happen with him lowering the rates, or did
Uh,
the
yes and no. Stock market today overall was not significantly up, but it's been doing very well in recent recent weeks. So
There are a
yeah.
few things here I wanted to, share. Let me see for a second if I have this. Just a few things that I noticed now that I was fishing around.
The biggest way to ensure the safety, security, and reliability of our national air traffic control system is to pass a clean continuing resolution.
We are concerned that when our brothers and sisters in TSA and air traffic control are not receiving paychecks, that they're distracted and that they erode on the margin of safety that we rely on to go out and operate our aircraft and do our job safely as well.
Every day that they go to work, they have not only the weight of one of the most high consequence jobs in the entire world, now they're feeling, how do I pay for my gas? How do I put food on the table?
No one should have to work without being paid. Congress owes it to the American people to get this thing done, get a clean CR done, and get the government back open.
Everyone knows, the Vice President, Congress, is that this shutdown needs to end now.
It has to happen now. These guys need to convene, say yes to that clean CR, get this thing back on track, and again, restore that confidence in the American public as we go into these very busy holiday seasons.
Yep. Yeah, they continue to play games with this, and now we're getting up on to the point where people are going to stop receiving aid checks. They're going to stop receiving payments for things. We're getting to places where things are not going to, uh, where things are not going to be processed because we're going to be starting a new month and things are not going to be handled.
Well,
And the Democrats continue to try and put all of this on Trump, saying it's his fault. It's saying it's the Republicans' fault, saying they're the ones that are trying to destroy your health care. They're the ones that are trying to take your eat your EBT SNAP benefits away and all this stuff. When in reality, they have voted 13, 14 times now. How many times have they voted to reopen the government by just passing this clean CR? And you would only need a handful of Republicans, or not Republicans, sorry, a handful of Democrats to move over and just say, you know what, fine, let's get this over with, pass a clean CR, because the Republicans have, the leadership in the Republican Party has said repeatedly that, yeah, let's get this CR, let's get back to work, let's get our military paid, let's get, all of these other programs back up and running, and then we'll talk. We will start negotiations immediately on some of these other things that you want to include in the budget, but we're not going to we're not going to allow you to sort of hold all of these people hostage, hold the government hostage in order to undo a signature bill of the president's that we
but is
passed
there
just a few
what's
months ago.
the is there a course of action that they can take, that Trump could take, and bypass this situation, or it's just an
If this
impasse?
continues long enough, there is a truly nuclear option that can happen in the Senate. It's not ideal, but the Senate could change the rules, and they could say continuing resolutions filibuster doesn't count. Two bird salute. Democrats, go screw yourselves. All we need is a 50 vote, 50 plus one to pass a continuing resolution. They could change the rules in the Senate to make the filibuster not count
Do they have the power
for
to do
this.
that?
Yes, they do. And they've done it for other things before. They did it for appointments for courts and stuff like that, because they were holding back the Democrats were holding back hundreds of appointments for different jobs, both judges and all sorts of other stuff. They were holding back Trump's appointments to all of these different roles in the government, and they finally said that we've had enough. Screw you. We're going to change the rules. Your filibuster is now null and void. It doesn't matter. We don't need 60 votes to overcome the filibuster. All we need is 50 plus one, and then started getting all of those passed. So yes, they can change the rules in the Senate and say, just nuke the filibuster and pass this the next day. They don't want to do that. They really want to try and keep those normal rules in the Senate. They don't want to have to do that. What they want is for just a hand. I think at this point it's now only four more Democrats that would say, "All right, we'll vote to pass the CR," and then we could move on. Everything would be over because there's already a couple of Democrats who have said, Yeah, yeah, we're fine with this, right? We're fine with the CR. Let's just get the government back open and let's start negotiating for other stuff." But yeah, so far still hasn't happened, and yeah, now there's all sorts of other knock-on consequences. I honestly think that the Democrats, I genuinely believe that a lot of these Democrats want for people to go without their SNAP payments. They want people to go without without their benefits because you're gonna see people rioting. I think they want that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That they want to see. And actually, I think it was Irwin that told me that earlier on a stream that they want the people that are not getting the food stamps to go riot in the streets.
Yep, that's exactly what they want. Yep.
So, is there a way to? How quick could Trump potentially get rid of the filibuster if he wanted to?
I mean, it would have to be the rules committee, in charge in the Senate. I don't remember the actual process, but it's not particularly difficult for them to do. With the Republicans in charge, they're allowed to kind of set those rules, and so I really think it's just a matter of them saying, "All right, we come out and we say, okay, here's what's happened. We've changed the rules. Let's vote." And then Republicans vote and the government's open again. And I don't think they want to do that. The filibuster is sort of part of the normal business in the Senate and has been for a very long time. But they don't require people to actually filibuster, though. They simply say, "All right, we need 60 votes. We need more than just a plurality. We need the 60 votes in order to move forward because that's how many votes it would take to overcome a filibuster." And so they say that's the rule. That's so it's just there's no actual formal filibuster that someone has to do. They don't have to step forward and actually stand up there for hours and hours and hours and filibuster to keep something from going forward. It's just part of the rules. 60 votes, whatever. But yeah, I mean, if things got desperate enough, things got bad enough, the Democrats weren't moving, things were, getting out of hand. Technically, yes, the Republicans could change the rules and eliminate the filibuster for the continuing resolution. They wouldn't have to do it for everything, but they could eliminate it for specifically the continuing resolution. But here's the thing, and Istafobos has just said this in the chat too. They really don't want to do that. It's part of how business usually works in the Senate, and it's part of what allows the minority in the Senate to still have some power over what's being passed. If you eliminate the filibuster, then if Democrats have 50 plus one, they can pass whatever the hell they want, right? So that kind of thing for now, for us, that's a benefit. For the Republicans, that's a benefit. They would be able to go ahead and reopen the government right away. But in the future, after that norm has been broken, after those rules have been changed, other people are going to be willing to change it more often and maybe eliminate it altogether. And at that point, yeah, you would have
Fortunate that we keep
eliminated it.
reaching
Yeah.
these situations, but I really hope that it doesn't get to the part where they riot because that's probably not a good thing.
No, and it really shouldn't be. The reality is that the changes that were made in that recent bill to those benefits were actually pretty marginal, and in fact reflect a lot of the same changes to these benefit programs that were made back in the 1990s under Bill Clinton. And these were actually good changes. These were changes that were supported by both the left and the right to require stricter work requirements, to help more people get off of welfare, get out from under having all sorts of extra aid. And the truth is that what the Democrats are asking for at this moment, with a lot of these extensions to these different programs, extensions to some of the subsidies that were out there, these were subsidies that were passed temporarily, and an expiration date was set by the Democrats in power. They set this expiration date because the whole idea was these were extra subsidies that were set up specifically because of the national emergency during COVID. And so they were going to expire anyway. And they're angry that they weren't renewed.
I see.
Yeah.
Phantom Hook is saying shopping carts have locking wheels now. Yeah, I mean, it's been that way for a very long time, that if you take a shopping cart just a certain distance from the supermarket, it'll kind of lock itself and then you can't move it. There's also another thing which they added in recent years, something that you put in a key and then you have to put in a quarter and it gives you back the quarter and you put in the key. But I feel like even supermarkets that have that, they don't even use that. Like, they don't use the key, and nobody... that wasn't a good strategy, the key with the quarter. I think that the locking wheel is the one that's probably a more successful strategy.
Yeah, both of those are strategies I've seen at different stores. I know one of our local stores has the locking wheels that they actually just did those this past year, that they put those on their carts.
I've had them in my area for several years.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it just wasn't something that we had locally. Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you a secret that I somehow learned. I'm further away from there, but there was some years that I lived next to a supermarket that had that, and I learned how to sort of trick the system. So I was able to take the cart with my stuff to where I live, like a few blocks next to it, and then I'd put all my stuff in there, and then I'd actually return the cart. Most people would probably abuse it and run away with the cart. I actually returned it, but I was able to trick the machine.
Yeah.
It wanted to lock, but I found a way to make it, like, there was a blind spot where you could somehow do it, and it doesn't know that you ran away with the cart. Again, I would return it, but I understand that most people probably wouldn't, but I would actually return the cart. But I did feel good that I managed to outsmart it. Like, I felt really good about myself.
That's funny.
What were we talking about? We had Trump. We said, "Oh, okay, this is another thing I wanted to share." Give me 1 second. I think it's something also from today. Okay, here you go. Can you see it?
Yep.
Is the way that here is our very simple proposal to the Democrats. Let's sit down and come to a compromise and work it out. And you know what the Democrats' response to that is? Give us everything we want, or we're going to shut down the government and keep it shut down. That is not reasonable behavior. That's not how you do compromise in this town. That is the way that the Democrats have operated. They are trying to take a hostage, and we can't reward that behavior. If we do that, if we say, yes, of course, we'll give you everything that you want if you reopen the government, you know what's going to happen? In 3 months, they're going to come back to the administration, and they're again going to say, we're going to shut down the aviation industry. We're going to deny people SNAP benefits unless you give us exactly what you want. That's how a child behaves. That is not how a responsible governing party behaves in the United States of America. And let me make one final point, and then we'll cut out of this press conference. Look, I've been a little bit unfair, and I want to correct this, because when I say the Democrats have shut down the government, it's actually the far left side of the Democratic Party, because to their great credit, 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Senate Republicans to vote to reopen the government. We need 5 more reasonable Democrats to put the American people first and reopen the government. That's all that we're asking. Let's talk about health care policy. Let's make sure that we ensure that Americans' health insurance premiums don't go up. We want that, and we're willing to work with people for it, but they've got to reopen the government first. Sean came from a background not that dissimilar from mine. Sean O'Brien came from a background not that dissimilar from mine. There are moms and dads who are fighting right now because they're worried about not being able to pay the credit card bill and the mortgage bill. There are parents who have to look their kids in the eye and say, you know what, we're not going to do football this year. We're not going to do basketball this year because I can't pay for it because the federal government is shut down and I'm not getting a paycheck. Do we want those people who keep the aviation system running to not be able to feed their families, to not be able to pay for some of the things that make life worth living? The answer to that question is absolutely. We want them to be able to afford a good life. The only way for that to happen is to reopen the government. It'll be good for those who fly. It'll be good for those who work in the aviation industry. It'll be good for the whole country. Just do the common sense thing, Democrats. Reopen the government. We need 5 Senate Democrats to join us. I hope that they will. Thank you, guys.
They probably won't.
Here is our very simple.
What do you think the odds are of this happening, Professor?
No telling. I don't know when. I don't know when the next vote is. They may be trying another one tomorrow.
Adam Gray asks, are we pretending Republicans have never shut down the government?
Absolutely not. They have. They have shut down the government, no question. Yeah.
The thing is, though, I think that in this case, if nothing else, it could be argued that with the Republicans having such control, maybe the government shouldn't be shut down. But I don't know if that's a good argument or not.
Yeah. I can certainly say that, Republicans have, Republicans have shut down the government before. It's never been shut down this long. And the reality is that I think that in some cases, now I'm not going to say all, but in some of those cases, it was really in good faith. I honestly do not think that this shutdown and what's being done by the Democrats is happening in good faith. I genuinely think what they want is chaos. They want things to go sideways. They want people in the streets. They want Summer of Love 2.0. And they think that's what's going to bring change. Trump, I think if that were to happen, is going to shut that shit down. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean, but he is not going to, that kind of stuff starts happening. It is going to be Insurrection Act immediately. There is going to be military in the streets. They are going to be shutting that stuff down. We are not having Summer of Love 2.0 with this. That's not going to happen. And if that stuff does start happening, yeah, the Republicans will step in. They will change the rules. They will start, just telling the Democrats to go screw themselves. And that's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out. But the one thing I know is that I really want all these people to get paid, and I want the people to get their SNAP and whatever it is. Like, I really do. I don't like that because of politics, people end up, suffering for that in general. It's just kind of frustrating and annoying. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. Professor?
Yep. Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
You sounded very quiet.
No, I was reading something. Yeah. So the most recent vote took place today on that clean CR. That it was the 14th time that it has been rejected by the Senate. So, yeah, Senate Democrats specifically.
I see. Well, on a brighter note, and this was something that some people were asking me about today, and I just think it's an interesting thing to discuss. First of all, I am proud to say that I was one of the first to report on this Very important story. Are you ready, Professor?
Oh, yes.
Uh,
This is a big story.
it's a big story.
It's very, very, very weighty, um,
The
very
reason why
important
very
story, yeah.
important. The reason why it's funny is I just write like breaking. Sweeney is attending an event, and like everybody understands exactly what that means. I got like a really good response for it. Like I don't even need to explain. Nobody cares what event it is. Nothing matters here. Like everybody understands exactly what this is, and but I was on a stream earlier and some people were saying, there were some opinions thinking, oh, is this too kind of raunchy? Is it too naughty? That the dress is a bit see through? Is Sydney Sweeney being too naughty? And personally, what I said is this naughtiness doesn't bother me. I'm not offended by it, but I don't know. I mean, everybody has a right to feel how they feel. I think that Sydney Sweeney knows that she's an appealing woman and she doesn't care about anything and she's doing this stuff and she's being playful. And at a time when all the ladies don't like being ladies and are all kind of hate the males and hate the male gaze and all that kind of stuff, Sydney Sweeney doesn't care about any of that. And there is something refreshing about it, in my opinion, at least. I can't speak for you, Professor.
Oh, it's some I think it's really revealing of her personality. I think
She's
it
being very transparent about her
yes,
goals.
exactly, yes. It's definitely something it really shows you a lot about, where she's headed as an actress, and, yeah, it's, tits.
And again, I also told people this, like, and I told you this last time. I saw that movie that's going to come out, or maybe it already came out today. That Christie one, that she's the boxer, and I thought that she gave a good performance. I also was kind of impressed that I saw that she went to this event, which was like an industry event, and there were other ladies there, even these kind of Jamie Lee Curtis. People were nice to her, which surprised me because you'd think that all these ladies probably hate her. They probably do hate her, but they still at least seem to be correct, like, they seem to be nice to her, so that was interesting. Because usually you like, right now, she stands against everything those ladies stand for. She, likes being feminine. She, does commercials, she does stuff. Everybody gets upset at everything. She completely enjoys being feminine and build and capitalizing on that. And at the same time, even the fact that she may or may not lean more right in her politics, if that's true, she likes going to the gun range or whatever. I feel like all these ladies around her hate her, but at least they're playing nice for the cameras. That's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you this much, if you've ever known any women, you know, a lot of these ladies hate anyone who is seen as more attractive than they are.
Right.
It's just reality. There are plenty of incredible, talented, beautiful, generous women out there. There are also a whole lot of very, very petty, bitchy, and nasty women who cannot stand anyone who is seen as being more attractive than they are, and they cannot stand those women. It's amazing. There's always this attitude, oh, women support women.
They don't
Whatever,
support them.
whatever,
Women do not
whatever.
support women. They're very catty women. I'm sorry, that's the truth. The thing
Yes,
is like,
absolutely.
there's two things. There's two myths that I wanna debunk here. One is that growing up, I'd sometimes see movies, even where there's like a male action hero, a guy, and he does all this stuff, and everybody goes to him and tells him how great he is. All his colleagues and everybody are like, "You're the best. You're the best," or at least sometimes. There would be movies like that. I learned that it doesn't work that way in life, even for men. A lot of times, you'll be in a certain field, you're succeeding, you're doing well. The men around you, your colleagues or whatever, even if like they're kind of cool with you, they're not necessarily going to be happy. There is jealousy amongst men, but I do feel like at the end, even with the jealousy and even with men, there's this feeling that at the end, men can sit around, have some beers, and still, overcome certain issues. There's still some camaraderie, even amongst like competitors or things like that. With women, it's worse. One, they get annoyed with each other and they're jealous. And when they get jealous and they get annoyed, in my opinion, they go far worse than like the men, elbowing each other. I feel like women are willing to go the extra mile. That's why you have so many of these shows where women are all like, catty with each other and like sort of backstabbing each other. You don't see a lot of shows like the male housewives of the whatever. You don't see any of that. You see usually some ladies sitting there and they're all like conniving and then sticking it to each other because it's more of I think that women are more ruthless when it comes to that kind of stuff towards each other. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no,
I
it
don't believe that. Sorry, go
when
on.
no, when guys have something like, you know, at least generally, like, they just get it off their chest. Sometimes it means they start punching each other, right? But they get it off their chest and they tell them what, what for. Sometimes they get physical, but then after that's done, a lot of guys are just gonna they're gonna come back together, they're gonna be like, "All right, you're cool, man. Let's, we're good now," right? They kinda like
Right,
they
right.
they
The
just get it
pendulum
out
says men
and then they
fight
move
it
on
out. Yeah,
together. Women will hold on to this stuff for ages,
never forget. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, not all women, I'm not saying all women are like that.
Well, I'm not
I've
making a
known.
generalization. I'm sure there's nice.
Yes,
I feel like
yes.
women are jumping ship now, Professor. That like, what
No,
is
no,
this guy talking
it is a
about?
generalization. It's a but yeah, I mean, any woman who's gonna be honest about it, they probably know women who are like this,
Right, they
right?
know this is true as well.
Eh,
Estefogua
yeah,
says Scarlett Johansson used to be Sydney Sweeney, now she hates Sydney Sweeney. No, and I also was fair. It's not that there isn't jealousy between men, and there is between women, but I do feel like men have a different way of handling it.
they absolutely do, yeah.
One that can ultimately end with men kind of putting that aside and having a beer together. And I can't always say the same for women. I feel like they, like I said, they could be more ruthless towards each other and they do it with a smile, like they're all kind of like cozying up to each other and they're nice, but you don't know what's going on behind, within their minds. It could be really dark stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, that's my opinion. Mary White is not upset at me. She knows that I'm saying something true. Yeah, I mean, I do think that they're more ruthless, but that's just my personal opinion. And in any case, Sydney Sweeney right now, she's the the it girl. I bet they all hate her, but that's the situation. That's how it is. And I am okay with her dress or whatever. It doesn't bother me. I'm not offended by it. I was saying that I think that she kind of wants to position herself as sort of a modern day Marilyn Monroe type, and I have no issue with that. There's such a vacuum. There's like no woman walking around enjoying being a woman anywhere. And if she wants to be the ambassador for a woman that likes to be a woman, I am okay with that. We could do worse. There could be worse ambassadors than this one, even if her dress seems a bit see-through.
Yes, it is. It's certainly immodest, right?
It's not
Maybe
modest.
showing off a little too much. And I understand. People. I remember what was it? It was who was it that brought their date to the red carpet last year? Uh,
Kanye West.
oh, it was Kanye West brought
Well,
their new
if
girlfriend or
you just
whatever. She was
they're naked.
basically
That
just
was
wearing nothing.
yeah, no, no. Sydney Sweeney, this is like a playful thing, and people are like, would you want to go out with her and then she'll walk around like that?" And you know what? I think I can make it work, guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you've ever seen a sheer dress like this, in person, I've haven't seen her in a sheer dress like this, but
I've
I have
never met
seen
her.
them worn. Uh, I In person, you generally can't see through that. It's the power from the flash, the extra light coming from the the flash photography that shows off a little bit extra underneath
I think so. I
underneath
think
the
that maybe
dress.
when you're standing there, it's not as
Yeah,
obvious, but then when you
yeah.
take the pictures, it becomes more obvious. And she probably knew that. Mary
I'm
White 2.
sure she did.
She knew. White 2.0 said, I am generally curious though, guys. Do you prefer longer hair on a woman or short, or it doesn't matter? So, Mary, I want to answer this very, very important question, and I'm going to answer it honestly. The way that Sydney Sweeney looks here with her hair, that's fine because it's not short. Like, there's a short that if it's like this kind of pixie thing, that's when it starts becoming annoying. And I'll tell you something. Most women simply can't pull off the pixie thing. This is a
Absolutely not.
this is a haircut that women can't pull off. Can the one that Sydney Sweeney is because it's
Yeah.
not a pixie situation. She could do this. She could do it longer. But in both cases, I think it looks good. I don't think that she looks good with one or bad with the other. I think in both cases she looks good. This haircut suits her. I don't have any issue with it. If she did that kind of shaving her head or like the thing where it's like a pixie thing, that's where it becomes weird. And there's so rare. It's so rare that women could pull off that pixie thing. Uh, I think that like Halle Berry could pull it off.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And
Charlize Theron could probably pull it off. Maybe like Rihanna, but there isn't like a long list of it from these kind of female
yeah.
celebrities.
Yeah, and
Most
it's gotta be cut just right, and yeah,
right.
I think a lot of it has to do with, sort of the overall sort of shape of the head, the shape of their face, their jawline, and then, the length of their neck, right? A lot of it has to do with that, like, and if all that's in the is sort of balanced and you can get that shorter cut and it looks good, like, there are definitely women who've had, shorter haircuts that look fine in it, but yeah, for the most part, I think this is probably about as short as I would want to see, hair on most women. She looks absolutely lovely. That's a lovely haircut here.
I think so too.
Very feminine, very attractive. Personally, yeah, I prefer longer hair, shoulder length at least, maybe a little bit longer. But that's my own preferences. Everybody has things that they like and don't. We have a robot head in the chat.
Oh,
Price.
hey, robot head. Here.
Cheers, robot head. How you doing?
Cheers, robot head. I'd send you an invite, but I assumed that would just annoy you. So I won't even
He
bother.
just doesn't want us to change the slide for the rest of the show. We've got quite a few people in fact in the chat that are just saying we can just stay on this slide for for at least the next hour or so.
I
Whatever it
hope
is
you
we're
heard.
talking about, we can just leave that right there.
I hope you heard my story. I hope that he heard my story about the prodigy.
The Prodigy cheese. Yeah.
I feel like he would appreciate that. But I don't know how long he's been here. That's actually a really good story. And until somebody said the moon of cheese, I basically like blanked that one out. I didn't even remember
Yeah.
that it existed. It's a great story. Robot that says the thing I like about her hair is his
It's-
tits.
yes.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
Robot Head.
Oh, I
And
see. Price has been putting up a little poll there. Yeah.
I
Oh,
did. I
you're looking at your chats there in front of us, buddy.
Oh no, sorry. What did I do?
Hide your screen.
Okay.
There you go.
Was it anything interesting? What did I do?
Oh, you were opening your chats to
Oh, I
send
feel
Robot Head a
terrible,
message.
Professor. I'm the worst. This is like I didn't how oh, I was sharing the thing. I get it now.
Yeah. I had
Sorry, guys.
I was today I was in a meeting and somebody was doing a presentation and they did not realize that they had like clicked on something on their screen and it had brought their messages, like messages on your iPhone, but you have it on your Mac, like they had brought that to the front of the screen and everyone could see it. So they could see all the text from their kids and
Well,
there was
thankfully, I'm
nothing like
looking at what was here, and
embarrassing.
there was nothing really interesting.
No, there was nothing horribly embarrassing in there. It was just funny. A couple people were like, "Hey, what?" And he's like, "Oh my god, I don't."
All I was trying to do was to send Robot Head an invitation,
Yeah,
which he's not going to do anything with, but I still sent it to him.
yeah,
Uh, and yeah, all I saw, he didn't even like. The only thing that was shared is that I was just writing him some nonsense. So
yeah.
I don't think that anybody. I guess what I'm saying is it's not some big disaster. The truth is, I'm really a boring DMer. There's not like really interesting stuff to see in my DMs, anyways. I
Yeah.
feel like if I have something interesting to say, I probably will say it in person.
Oh. Uh-oh. Robot Head's very distressed. We don't have
Oh,
Sydney on
sorry,
screen.
Robot Ed. Yeah, no, I understand. I'm
You
gonna,
need to make a separate tab just for Sydney.
uh, you know what? I'm gonna do even better than that. Hold on, Robot Head. Don't go anywhere. Uh, First of all, I want to tell you that if you didn't know, Sydney Sweeney also went to a baseball game. Did you know that?
I did not.
She completely is doing the Marilyn Monroe thing, I'm telling you. So she went to a baseball game and she ate a hot dog. And I
Oh,
guess this is her eating a hot dog at a
that's
baseball game.
that's a very lucky hot dog.
I feel like she completely just is leaning into it. She is
She
100% just.
Here's the thing. She absolutely should lean into it.
Why
She
not? Who's
is
stopping her, really?
she's from all accounts a lovely person. She's beautiful. Some people say they think she's got a butter face. I don't. I think she's got a lovely face. She's not a supermodel, but that's okay. I actually kind of prefer the like girl next door types. So that's fine with
She
me.
looks like she's
She looks
fun,
nice.
and that's what I think is missing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you want somebody to look fun, and I think that Sydney Sweeney has filled that void. Everybody has become annoying. All these like ladies are bitter and annoying, and Sydney Sweeney seems like she's fun. She knows
Yeah.
there's a shortage. There's a shortage of fun women. Uh, Wait a second. So that's the hot dog one. I'm gonna leave the hot dog one for a second. Let me see what else I can find. Did Robot Head run away because I changed the photo, or is he still here?
Well, I've got another pair. I mean, another set of
Another
photos.
set of photos? You can
Yeah.
share them.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll just have to switch over to them.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. There you go. There's a couple from the red carpet there. Some different angles.
Yeah, she looks like she's very pleased with her
Yeah.
appearance here. I thought that the hot dog one was pretty good. Let's see. There was something else. Let me see what I think there was videos of her. Okay.
Yeah, Adam was saying that she's smart and she's having fun. Yeah, I do think she's smart. I really do. I think she's very, very savvy, media savvy, and she's really using that to her advantage. The truth is that she's got good looks, and I'm sure that if she's a realistic person, she knows that she's not going to have those amazing looks forever, right?
She is cashing in.
And Miss Sweeney right there.
Cash in while you can. Oh, that's loud.
And Sydney's straight ahead. And beautiful smile for the cover. You want to do one last over the shoulders? Sydney, that smile. And Miss Sweeney, Sydney, ground right here, Sydney. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that on what you're playing, Price? Because we can't. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, you couldn't see it?
Yeah, I could hear the audio though. That was weird.
Oh, okay. That was very,
There
very
we
weird, but now we're gonna watch.
And Miss Sweeney right there. And Sydney's straight ahead. And beautiful smile for the cover. You want to do one last over the shoulders? Sydney, that smile. And Miss Sweeney, Sydney, ground right here, Sydney. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Miss Sweeney.
There's a shortage, and she is she's just capitalizing on that shortage. There's a vacuum. She's smart. All the other women are stupid, and she's smart.
Oh, there was some more hot dog shots there. She was having hot dogs with somebody else.
I guess I don't know if it's her sister or it's somebody else. I don't know, but apparently they seem to like hot dogs. Professor,
Mm-hmm.
make of that what you will. There was also more videos, but I can't seem to find. There was one I think that like suddenly Jamie Lee Curtis was like nice to her, and I think that I don't think these ladies like her. That was my my thing. This was actually I don't know. I found my own tweet while searching. I don't know why my own tweet came up, but this was a good one. She looked very nice here in this photo. I think this was at Jeff Bezos's wedding or something. Who knows?
Hmm.
Media. Maybe there's some video. Ugh. All right. If you have one, let's go to yours. What did you have? I don't want to
What?
upset Robot Head, but bring a photo
Yeah.
quickly.
Oh, well, I still had the same pair. Um,
Hmm.
what else do we have? Oh, yeah, she's had plenty of lovely pictures. Uh, she, like I said, I think she's real
Here, I
smart
found it.
to.
I found what I wanted to show you. That this one is
Oh,
like
okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis is very kind of left in her
Yeah, I did see
views,
the one with Jamie Lee Curtis.
and I feel
Yeah.
like she probably doesn't like her, but I see that she's like very nice to her.
Ladies together, Sydney, Jamie Lee. Ladies, Jamie Lee, Sydney. And Sydney and Jamie Lee, great. And Jamie and Sydney, great. Ladies together.
I suspect that she doesn't like her. What's this? All these people here?
We're all smiling. We're all happy. One more. And one for fun, just so I have it. We're almost there. We're almost there.
You're doing great, Michael.
Great. And one last.
I guess. Women, power of women. It's Sydney Sweeney, Wanda Sykes, Nicole Scherzinger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kate Hudson, and Ali Reisman. Very random group of people, but okay. Oh, this is her talking about Sydney Sweeney. I'm curious what she says
We're
about
just
her.
hanging out with Sydney Sweeney here.
Well, I've never met her, and she's just this. I mean, talk about somebody who's wide open and so ready to take all that is coming at her and does it with such grace and fun. And, she's this young talent. It's thrilling.
We're just hanging out
She doesn't
with
seem
Sydney
thrilled
Sweeney.
at all, Professor. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Jamie Lee Curtis just said all the things that she needed to say. She behaved the way you would expect her to behave, but I didn't feel like she was genuine about it. That's my personal opinion. Anyhow, what was you can return to whatever photos you had.
Oh, well, I was just gonna share our friend Robot Head was mentioning Sydney Sweeney. Not a picture of Sydney Sweeney, but did mention Robot Head in a tweet or did mention Sydney in a tweet earlier today. You might have heard that they're planning to do a new Buck Rogers film. We don't know how much this is going to be based off some of the original material versus being based off of the 70s TV show. Have you ever seen the 70s TV show, Price?
I maybe saw an episode, but I'm not very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I have
actually
like some very
recently
general. I did watch an
Yeah.
episode.
I recently actually rewatched this because I've been going through my collection and ripping a bunch of my DVDs, and so I ripped all the DVDs of these episodes and was watching some of them and remembering a day when they had gorgeous women on television every single week, right? And they weren't always covered from head to toe in in clothing to completely covering up their lovely bodies. It's he was Sydney Robot Head was posting saying, "Hey, I put Sydney Sweeney in this role, make it a hit." And no, I don't mean Tweaky. Right, put Sydney Sweeney in a number of different roles there.
She's perfect
Samsung
for Buck
says
Rogers, yeah.
Samsung says, Erin Gray is yummy. Oh, Erin Gray is, oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous woman. And, from all accounts, an incredibly kind, generous, fun, woman as well. She's, she did a whole bunch of other work, throughout the years. There were gorgeous women on this show every single week, and you even had some like the character Princess Ardala, who was basically just walking around in a bikini for, for every scene that she was ever in the show. And yeah, there's some incredible stuff, but yeah. Uh, this show was never I know why it didn't get picked up after 2 seasons. Not only was it expensive, but it also got very corny and silly, pretty fast, but, that was part of the fun of the, Buck Rogers show. I hope that they keep some of that humor, in doing a remake of it. They don't get too serious. They don't try and insert a whole lot of, uh, you know, gender politics and identity politics and stuff into it, because that would be that just wouldn't fit. That wouldn't fit at all. So yeah, this was a, classic show. Unfortunately, had Gil Gerard in it, who he had a lot of he had a lot of issues, addiction issues, specifically with alcohol over the years, and so that kind of put an end to his career. He got in at one point incredibly fat, and so yeah, we didn't see too much of Gil Gerard in other work later on, but yeah, Aaron Gray went on to do quite a few things.
I mean, Sydney Sweeney is the only one now that you could, say there's a movie, make her look, naughty on a poster, make it something fun, and I think some people will go watch it. Recently, she's been in these kind of movies that are not necessarily that. There was a small indie movie called Americana. I thought she was actually quite decent in it, but it wasn't like a movie for the masses. I watched that one. I didn't hate it, but I guess, a lot of people, it didn't get a lot of attention. Then there was that movie Eden that Ron Howard did, and I thought that she did decently in that movie. I didn't dislike her in the movie, but again, I wouldn't categorize the movie as fun. And even now, this like Christie thing, it's one of those kind of Oscar bait movies. I think that Sydney Sweeney has yet to make a movie that really leans into her, appeal. Maybe you had a little bit of that in that stupid rom-com. It's fine, people like rom-com. It's better that there's some kind of rom-com and that there's a man and a woman and they're in a rom-com. It's fine. Her and Glenn Powell were fine in that, but it's not a spectacular movie. It's just whatever. I think that they have yet to think of a movie that really brings out the fun with Sydney Sweeney and her appeal and all of that. She still has yet to make that movie, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe they're starting to see the those opportunities there for her, and it takes time, to make a film, to get it released and stuff. So maybe we'll start to see some more of that later.
Hard to
But
believe that she was in Madam Web and they didn't know that they could just make her look nice and put her on a poster. That has to be like the worst use of resources ever.
oh my gosh, they completely covered her up and made her look like a dork the whole
It's
movie.
so stupid.
Yeah,
Imagine hiring her and trying to make her look bad for an entire movie makes no sense whatsoever. It's like you have $200 million. You have Sydney Sweeney looking good. It really, really, there's so many things you could do with the $200 million and a good-looking Sydney Sweeney and this kind of even like, comic books, the thing. So many things. There were like 500 options of what they could do, and they chose the one option that is the biggest disaster, like an unwatchable piece of crap that makes her look bad the whole time. Uh, Whoever was in charge of that movie should never be able to make movies again.
yeah, that was a total disaster. I mean, it was amusing in how terrible of a film it was, but, a really just a complete disaster, right?
Let's see for a second. This is like what she looked like on the red carpet for that movie, and this is what she looked like in the movie. There is no way you can ever explain this to anybody. There's no this situation. If I'm in a studio, if I'm like the guy in charge of Sony or whatever it is, whatever his name is, Mr. Sony. If I'm Mr. Sony and I see this, I walk into the office. I find out who was involved in Madam Web. I like find all the people that were involved in this thing and I fire them on the spot. This is like a fireable offense in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I don't even think that's an overreaction. That's
No, it's like you don't understand the first thing about entertainment. If you hired her and that's what she looks like on the red carpet and that's what she looks like in your movie, there's nothing you can tell me that would justify. Okay, if it was like a drama that cost about like $5 to $10 million to make, and it's some kind of like drama that's like a real life gritty situation, some awards bait or something like that, you say, okay, well, for $5 to $10 million, there's a reason why she looks like this. It's we need. Even then, you can't even convince me. But let's say there's a reason. You have $200 million. You're doing like something that's a Marvel property basically, and this is what you got. There's no way to explain it unless she starts off like this in the first like 10 minutes, but then like she becomes a superhero, or when she's like, this is her Clark Kent disguise, but when she's not this, like she looks like she does on the left. That may have been something you could get away with, but that's not what happens in the movie. She looks like she does in the right picture throughout the whole movie. This is what she
yeah.
looks like.
Aside from like a 3-second scene where you see her dressed up as
You can barely, it's like dark. You
yeah
can barely see anything there. They even that set 3 second scene is crap. They did
yeah
not do anything well. Uh the strangest thing is that I don't know why I thought of this now. I feel bad also for the actor who played the villain in that movie. I can I It's either that his acting is like terrible, or I think that they overdubbed his voice with like what's his face, with like AI.
it's possible if the or I mean his maybe his delivery on the set was just that bad that they had to go back and have
No,
him
there's
dubbed
parts
over
that
again.
like you can't see as they like show different angles of his face, and then like there's words being said, and you're like, somebody dubbed this or something. There's something really, really weird with the villain there. Beyond the fact that the movie is written so poorly, the villain himself, the
The
villain
villain
himself is
is dreadful. Yeah, the villain
that
is
movie.
terrible.
I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking about it now. I sat in the theater and I couldn't believe how bad it was. It was like out of all the flops that we've seen in recent years, that had to be one of the top flops. Like there have been some stinkers over the past 5, 6, 7 years, ones that are laughably bad that we can have like each one of them we can sit hours and laugh at. But Madam Madam Web was one that like I think that I was like howling in the theater with how like it was so funny. Like there were parts that I think that I like, how when you laugh, you almost like you're in pain and you have like tears in your eyes because
Oh
you're
yes.
laughing. There were parts of Madam Web that I think I had that feeling. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And now thinking about it, I'm laughing at it as well. It's just, if nothing else, I think that over time it may become a cult movie because it's so bad. It could one day become a cult movie for being like so awful.
Yeah.
They
Just
ADR'd his lines.
yeah, I
They
think they
AD
did. Yeah.
they ADR, but I don't even know if he's the one that's ADRing them. It almost seems like it's like an AI that's ADRing him.
No telling. It was bad though. It was
Tomahawk. There was
bad.
a villain. I think he was. It was so stupid. Uh,
He
Sweeney's
was
hot dog buddies.
helping her mother research spiders in the Amazon right before she
The funny
died.
thing is, they actually changed that line because people laughed at it in the trailer. So when you get to the movie, they changed something so they wouldn't have that exact one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that it was still there. I mean, the thing with the mother and the spiders, it was so bad.
It was awful.
Like nothing made sense. And honestly, The woman that made that movie, I don't know if she'll ever work again, and maybe she can direct like a small budget movie, indies and things like that. Above her, she was punching above her belt with that movie.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. They're like, not only did they put the glasses and make Sweeney look bad, they wanted her to make this like weird look on her face.
Yeah, just oh, it's miserable. Yeah.
Like, ooh, are you
Yeah.
Sydney, you have to be miserable. That's probably what they told her. And she's like, all
Yeah.
right, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
And
Like,
then
you're
the
paying.
the lead in that film, someone mentioned, Dakota Johnson. Yeah, Tim Hayes mentioned, yeah. Oh my god, she was terrible.
Terrible,
And then,
terrible.
I mean, just the I like I said, like you said, there was plenty to be amused by it, how terrible this was. I
Every line Dakota Johnson was saying was like as if she's just reading it off a teleprompter
Yes.
in the most like annoyed, like she doesn't even want to be there type of way.
I yeah, I at the end of the film when she's blinded by fireworks that hit her underwater, I literally
Yeah.
I burst out laughing.
I burst
I
out
could
laughing in the
not
theater. There were
believe
moments I
how
couldn't stop laughing.
stupid that was. It's like, this is what happens? And then, of course, the whole fight before that with her, she's driving around in the ambulance, and then she drives the ambulance into the back. Just, I mean, I don't know how they did not see how unintentionally hilarious
They
that
must have noticed at some point that that movie sometimes I guess you have a
astounding.
disaster and you just don't know what to do with anymore. As the football
Yeah.
says, Tahar Rahim did do the replacement lines, but they completely rewrote the script, so it was nothing like what he said on camera. I believe it. I believe that they tried saving that movie, but somehow them trying to save it made it worse. There's also one part in the movie that she's a fugitive, okay? She's a
Yeah.
fugitive from the law, and then in the next scene she leaves
Sh
the country and goes to Peru.
She
And it's
magically
like,
appears in Peru,
how
having
did
had to
you
get on
leave?
multiple planes and
Right.
fly out of the
How?
country.
How, if you're a fugitive, how were you just a fugitive and how are you in Peru? And then she just sits there and like 5 minutes later in Peru, she meets like the Peruvian Spider-Man guy. And then like he immediately shows like the fate of her mother and all this stupid stuff. Man, I mean, okay, I understand that in a movie like Madam Web, in any kind of superhero movie, you're going to run into some things that are, you need to suspend some disbelief. Not everything is going to make sense. But man, that's like very basic things about storytelling that don't make sense about Madam Web.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I really I don't get, I don't get people casting Dakota Johnson for anything. Uh,
I think that
she's terrible.
she's not a good actress. I think that she got away with those movies with the Christian Grey or whatever it is. Those
Yeah,
those
50 Shades movies, yeah.
those
But even
movies.
then no, go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead. What were you going
No,
to
I
say?
was gonna say even then, she was nominated for the Razzie, actually, I think she won Razzie Awards for Worst Actress for for the first one of those 50 Shades films. Like, she's terrible. She's just awful.
The thing with Dakota Johnson is the truth is her parents. It's a nepo baby
Yeah, it's
situation,
Don Johnson,
and
yeah.
I honestly sometimes you have no nepo babies that maybe still can be good actors. You have people like that. Like Josh Brolin is a good actor, and his father is an actor. So sometimes it could work that you have like a son that knows how to act. Charlie Sheen is a nepo baby, but he doesn't know how to act, even though he's a weirdo. But he still knows how to act. You have situations like that. Dakota Johnson is not one of them. She somehow, uh, you know, I don't think that she got any real like skills from either side of her parentage. Yeah, I think that Don Johnson is a decent actor. I don't think she got his acting chops. I think that Melanie Griffith, I don't know that she was the best actress, but she was at least like in her day. She looked okay and all that. I don't know. I think that Dakota Johnson is like less than the sum of her parents, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah, those talents don't always get passed down to the next generation.
Anna Gray says Tor Johnson better than Dakota Johnson. Who's Tor Johnson? I
Oh,
don't
Tor
even.
Johnson. Yeah, he was the famous B movie actor. He was huge, huge guy, bald headed. He was in Plan 9 from Outer Space and a bunch of other stuff. Yep.
Yeah, she's the daughter of Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson, and
Yeah.
that's why she's
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson. She just she's a triple nepo. Oh, that's right, Tippi Hedren. She's a triple nepo, but that's what she seems like. She seems like somebody that the whole thing was just paved. The way was paved for her, and sometimes why these kind of actors are better than their children? Because the parent actors, a lot of times they had a tough journey to get to wherever they need to. And sometimes that tough journey builds character. So maybe it's a person that didn't grow up in this circle, had to work very hard to get the opportunity. And by the time that person got there, he brought something, some life experiences that he had, some journey that he went through. But when you see somebody like Dakota Johnson, who was a third generation, like somebody said, nepo baby, like a triple nepo baby, she probably from day one there was like, that thing that you have the bell and then the butler shows up?
Sure.
Probably like that type of situation from like whenever your first memories, Professor, I don't know what they are. My first memory, I remember I think playing with ants in the sand, okay? I don't know why I was playing with ants in the sand, but that is a true story. You probably have a memory. Her first memory is that like they give her that bell and the butler comes and like gives her like you know you know what I'm trying to say, like
Yeah.
serves her like caviar on a cracker or something. That's like her first memory. So she's obviously not going to bring that kind of character. She's not going to do it. The reason why Charlie Sheen, even let's say, even when I was watching the movie about him, is that like his father still was kind of wacky when he was young. He was growing up in like different crazy situations or whatever. So maybe it's somehow built some character. Or maybe in some cases, somebody could still be a good actor or still overcome the fact that they're like a second generation. But in the case of Dakota Johnson, nope, not at all.
Nothing there. Yep. You my very first memory, the earliest memory that I have was my parents taking me very young to see The Empire Strikes Back at a drive-in theater. It's my earliest memory.
That is a really good
I
memory
remember
because
sitting in the back in my little seat and watching Empire Strikes Back. Not that I remember all of it, right? But that was where my love of Star Wars began. I also very close to the same time. I remember at the time my family had cable, and I had figured out because at the time you in order to change the channels, you'd have dozens of channels. And so you had this giant box
oh, I
that
remember the box.
just had, well, it had a remote that connected to it, and it was just connected by a wire, just like a phone cord wire connected this big box. And you didn't have like channel numbers because there were only like 3 dozen channels. So instead, the box for the remote had just little pictures for the channels. And it had NBC and ABC and whatever, but then it had HBO, and we had HBO at the time. And I remember I got up one morning before my parents were up on like a Saturday morning, and I got up and I turned the TV on and I turned on HBO, and it was Star Wars. And I did the little you know 6-year-old thing for little kid thing where you sit like 2 inches from the TV. And I sat there and watched Star Wars while my parents were in bed. I watched it on the little TV. That's again, some of the earliest memories that I have.
I have an
All about
early
Star Wars.
memory. Sorry, go on.
No, that was done.
Oh no, I have an early memory, an early Star Trek memory that we had like this, like a small room, like really really small, and there was black and white TV there. I'm probably like I'm talking about like 3 years old or something. I don't even know how I remember this, but I know that I saw this there was like a black and white TV, a small one in this room,
Yeah.
and I woke up one morning. Also, my family was asleep, and I woke up and I turned it on, and I remember that I watched like a Star Trek episode. I highly doubt that I understood at that age what I was watching, but I was very curious about TV and stuff, even from a very young age, and it's an early memory. 3, 4 years old, I the one thing that I really remember is Mr. Spock, because I can't forget that he had the ears, and I feel
Mhm.
like that was my first moment seeing it. Also, Return of the Jedi is something that I saw in the theater, early movie that I saw in the theater.
Oh,
Uh,
yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
surprisingly, it's something that really I remembered that movie very well. Like, everything that went on in that movie was, like, the best thing that ever happened to me. I loved, Return of the Jedi when it came out, and I was so young when I saw it, but I understood what I was watching,
Oh, yes.
and to this day, it's like, it's such a great memory for me. I think that uh, over the years, my appreciation for Empire Strikes Back went up, and I still really like Return of the Jedi. But for me, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still like Return of the Jedi, even with the Ewoks, even whatever you want. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was yeah, I was fairly young at the time as well. And but there was a rule in my family that if you're going to go see Return of the Jedi, you're taking him with you. I'm going with you to see it. So I think I probably saw that film. Oh gosh, I probably saw it in the theater like 6 or 7 times
It's a great movie to see.
with different extended members of my family.
I can't
I
blame you,
loved
Professor.
it.
That was
I was just sitting there, my mother said, "Yeah, you were just there. You were just beaming ear to ear watching this movie and
but you
watching
know
the
what?
lightsabers and watching the Ewoks and watching everything." I'm like, "I bet I was. I loved it. I
I
couldn't
loved it
get
too.
enough."
I'll never forget. I'll never forget the thing that the Emperor electrocutes Luke. I'll never forget that. I was a kid. And
Yes.
then, like, Darth Vader ends up doing that, and then he uncovers Darth Vader's mask. I remember sitting in the theater and I was really young. I remember watching that as if it was yesterday. Like, I will never forget that memory. That's why later, when Disney took over Star Wars and ruined it, it's something like that really it bothers you that you had such a connection to something, and they just came and they're like, let's turn it into some strange political platform for divisive ideologies.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, a Tomahawk 511 says, would you guys say Drew Barrymore is a better actress than Dakota Johnson, I
And
assume?
Dakota Johnson.
Yes, yes. Drew Barrymore.
Possibly, yes.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because Drew Barrymore, from a young age, they took her to already be on sets and movies and things like that. She was in E.T. as a child actress, gave a fantastic performance as a child actor in
Yeah.
E.T. Fantastic. She just had the ability, and they already put her on a set from a young age where she was using her skills. Drew Barrymore is 100% a better actress you know, than Dakota Johnson. Yes, in her private life, she seems a bit goofy in her talk shows or whatever, but I will argue that she's a better actress than Dakota Johnson. Not saying she's Meryl Streep or whatever it is. Not that I even like Meryl Streep, but she is a good actress. But I'm saying, like, Drew Barrymore is, compared to Dakota Johnson, Drew Barrymore is Meryl Streep. That's what I can say. But you know what I was
Woo.
saying about Disney and what
Yeah.
they did with destroying Star Wars. There was
Yeah.
something today. I don't know if you noticed this, but now there's a new spin. Did you see this thing with Doctor Who? Is it on Deadline? Where was it?
Oh, there's all sorts of different things happening with the spins on Doctor Who.
No, but there's one thing. I'm trying to find where this thing was. There was a headline. I can't find this thing. Where was it that it said that the Doctor Who it blamed Republicans for for Disney failing with Doctor Who. Uh, do you know where that article was? I know
No,
I saw
I don't
something.
think I've seen that one in particular saying Republicans. I mean, I saw that there was something saying that Trump's America couldn't handle it or
Yeah, that's what
whatever.
I'm trying to say,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm trying to find it, but now I feel like after everybody
yeah.
laughed at them, they may have removed it. I can't find it. Let's see. Was this the one? Here. Now when you search for it, they like change the headline in the search. It's so
Or
strange.
you in a different tab. Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
Okay. Uh so here's the thing. Are you looking at it? Let me do you
There we go.
see it?
Yeah.
So, if you look at the headline now, it says Doctor Who: Why Disney Ditched Deal with BBC for Sci-Fi Series. Now, I have a feeling that this wasn't always the headline because when you click on it, it says Why Disney Ditched Doctor Who. Sources say ratings, big ticket budget, and MAGA politics were factors in BBC failing to regenerate. I think that they changed that later so that people wouldn't laugh at them as much as they were laughing. It's like you're trying to somehow tie the failure of this piece of shit to, like, Republicans?
Yeah, MAGA wasn't ready for it or whatever. No, you know what? Here's what I remember. Here's what I remember. When they introduced this new season, they told us that with Shooty and RTD that it was going to be more for the modern audience, right? That's what they told us. And then they also told us that they didn't care about other people who were not interested in this show. They told them to go touch grass. They said that if you don't like what we're doing with Doctor Who, you're a racist and you're, all sorts, you're phobic and whatever. And we don't want you, but that's okay. You can leave because for every one of you that doesn't like the direction we're going, there's going to be 9 more people who are going to come in and watch this show. So it's okay if you leave. So this idea, as it says there, industry source saying it became too woke for Trump's USA. That was their goal. They told us that their stated goal was to make the show more woke. They were going to stick all sorts of identity politics into it, all sorts of queer ideology into it. And that was what they intended, and that there was an audience for that. That's what they said. So this whole, oh, well, it was too woke for Trump's USA, so it got to be canceled. No, 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 no. No, you said we're making it woke because that's where the audience is, and they're going to come watch our show with all of our identity politics and everything in it. So I call bullshit.
Right, and this is the
Sorry,
thing.
Sean.
Another well-placed industry source says Doctor Who became too woke for Trump's USA. Let me tell you something. They said that they're going to find an audience, okay? Let's say in the United States, there are people that didn't vote for Trump. Now, I know he won in a landslide and he won the electoral and the popular and whatever, but there's millions and millions of people apparently that voted for Kamala, okay? Those people, according to this article, could have sat and watched Doctor Who. It was trying to cater to them. So where were they? And this is the bottom line. There were people that were following this show. This was a tradition. There were people all over the world. There was a fan base and a following for over 60 years. There's people from different generations that have watched this show and have onboarded at different eras and different times. Multi-generational tradition, England tradition, whatever you want. And then they came and they did all this crap, and all the people that I just mentioned jumped ship, and they couldn't, conjure up a few 100,000 people to watch this piece of crap, which Disney sunk $250 million into. And at the end, their reaction to it is, wow, it must be Trump's America. Screw you. You ruined this fucking show. Sorry, Sean. You ruined it. You don't get to do that. You don't get to take something that existed for over 60 years and flush it down the toilet after getting $250 million and then do all of this. Russell T Davies got $250 million to produce those shitty episodes. That's more money than anybody can ever imagine on Doctor Who. That was the best thing that could have happened. He came in at a point where he needed to course correct. He had the biggest budget. He had the backing. He had everything. All he needed to do was make something that wasn't a piece of shit, and he said, I want to turn this into a political platform. So yeah, these articles should be outlawed. This article, this is a disgusting article, and I think that the people that wrote this should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's pathetic. And the truth is that if they were trying to make a show, and their intent was, well, first of all, to appeal to anyone in America, that was a huge mistake. This is a British show. It's a British institution. It should continue to be British and appeal to the British people. That's what we loved about Doctor Who. We didn't care if it was talking to Americans or not. Nobody did. Anyone who was actually a fan of this show and enjoyed this show for what it was, wanted it to continue to be a British-centric show. We didn't need it, constantly talking to Americans and American ideas, values, whatever. It was cute and fun when, we did have some American stuff sort of put into, like, the Matt Smith years when the show was starting to become a lot more popular in the US, so they had him come over to Utah. They had him come over to New York for this episode, that episode, whatever. But for the most part, we anyone who really enjoyed the show just wanted it to stay what it was. They wanted it to stay this institution in England, and stop trying to mess with the formula so much, and try and insert stuff that really didn't belong in the first place. And that's been an issue with a lot of different shows over the years. But yeah, it was uh to claim, oh well, it was MAGA that ended Doctor
That's
Who.
so.
Oh,
I'm so tired of this.
please.
I've said this before also about Kathleen
Oh.
Kennedy and Star Wars and all those other things. Sometimes you take a swing in terms of you think, oh, I'm going to take this and make it about my favorite ideologies, and it fails. Accept responsibility for your failure. Admit that you did something bad and that you suck. Shut the fuck up, and preferably hand the keys over to somebody else, leave, and shut the fuck up. No, these guys, they don't want to leave, they don't want to go anywhere, they want to collect their salaries, and they want to find the boogeyman for their failure. It must have been people that like Trump that didn't like Doctor Who. Oh, stop it already. If you had anybody watching, if you had anybody, you needed you needed a small group of Democrats. Let's say the Republicans didn't like your show. Then where are all the Democrats that you thought would like it? I mean, obviously nobody watched it. Why aren't you saying that the Democrats are bad because they didn't watch your show? Why is it like you're focusing your anger on one group of people? They didn't watch your show either. Why aren't you writing anything bad about them? Why aren't they your boogeyman?
They can't accept that this modern audience that they're seeking out there is vanishingly small.
They've taken this is the same thing as Bud Light and every kind of thing that we see. It's people saying, "Okay, we have an audience." They take for granted that audience, whatever it is, customers, they take them for granted and they say, okay, these we already have on lock. So we don't even have to do anything to appease or do anything that's good for these customers. We just need to get more customers. How do we find like, this modern audience? And those other guys, they'll be there because they suck. They're suckers. They have nothing else to do. They'll be there. And if they're not there supporting it, they're istant phobes. No worries. And then they try to bring all these new people and whatever, it doesn't work. And suddenly they're like, well, we're all the people that we were counting on. And then they don't show up. And then their automatic, like, knee jerk reaction is, well, they must be islamophobes. And I don't even think that it's a matter of politics. At the end, people that like these franchises, and I don't know who they voted for. Sometimes it's people even abroad that their politics are different than the politics here. And they too don't want to see it. Like, here's another thing. Doctor Who was something that Disney, was a part of. It was also thinking that internationally it's going to do well for them, like in the days of Matt Smith that you were mentioning, Professor. So they thought this would be something international. Nobody wanted to watch the show anywhere. In no country did anybody want to watch this crap. Not in
No.
England, not in the US, not anywhere. If you can't get anybody in the world to want to watch a show that $250 million were dumped on some episodes and you can't get them to watch it, then you're doing something wrong and it's a you problem. It's not MAGA or all this other weird shit. It's you. It's Russell T Davies, it's the
Yeah.
BBC, and it's Disney themselves. Mainly, the number one culprit, probably Russell T Davies, then the BBC in close second, then maybe Disney. All those guys.
I just feel like this was another one of these money laundering scams, like the Acolyte, right? Like, how do you spend that kind of money on a season of Doctor Who? We're talking about they were saying they were estimating somewhere in US dollars around $8.5 million an episode for what they were producing. Do you know how much they used to spend on Doctor Who on a a week to week basis on a that that show, I think in today's dollars,
I
let me
hope
look.
Marla Chernoff wasn't telling me to shut the F up. I hope she meant the
In
people that ruined Doctor Who and not
yeah.
me.
So in today's dollars, they spent 3 million for an entire season of Doctor Who in the 1980s. Granted, they probably could have used a little bit more. They probably could have done a little bit more with a better budget than that. But they were not spending enormous amounts of money. They were and those seasons were 3 times what we're getting for
They
these
had
seasons
they
today.
had high-end actors, and they had in a lot of seasons, at least especially in the earlier ones back in the day in the original series, they had great writing and great acting. When it
Yeah.
comes to the visuals and stuff like that, yeah, it felt like sometimes you were watching like the production of a school play, but you know
Yeah.
what? When the actors and the writing is so imaginative, you can accept the charm of it for whatever it was. I would unironically watch anything from the Tom Baker era
Oh, hell
over
yes.
any of that Shooty Gatwa crap or Jodie Whittaker or whatever. I would have much more fun watching the Tom Baker era.
I will watch the Ark in Space with Tom Baker chasing around a guy in green spray painted bubble wrap. I'll watch that over and over again rather than watch this trash, right? It's the show was incredibly cheap in how it was made, but it was also incredibly inventive in how they tried to, with what little budget they had, tried to tell real stories, actual science fiction stories that had to deal with ethics and morals and actually had heroes and villains and told interesting, worthwhile stories. Yeah, some of them were pretty corny, and yes, the visuals, the actual special effects at the time. It's funny because I was actually watching some of these the other day with some of my family because I picked up some of the Blu-rays for some of these some of the seasons, Tom Baker seasons, some of the others, and we were laughing at how some of the special effects that they had were so cheesy, and we're like, but you know what? That was just of its time, right? It didn't need to be any better. Yeah, you got a cheesy looking laser
I
gun
love those
that that
things. You know
that
what?
really
There's the
all it did
charm.
was light up
Y-
at the
y-
end, and then there was a little
you can't recreate
explosion
that
on the other
charm.
end.
You know
That's
what?
what it was.
It's people that were limited in what they had available, and they made the
Exactly.
most of what you can
Yes.
appreciate the ambition even if they didn't have the budget. But sorry, go on.
Well, no, and it's those limitations that breed the creativity. They breed they bring that charm to what it is that was made because you can see that there were people that genuinely cared about what they were trying to do and they wanted to try and create something even with this minuscule budget that they had. They wanted to try and do something great with it. They wanted to try and do something worthwhile with it where you get these other productions where you get, I mean, hell, what was it? It was The Eternals, where the directors basically come out and told everybody that, Chloe Zhao said, "Oh, they basically told me I had any money that I wanted for everything ever. Like I could spend as much as I wanted." and so there was absolutely nothing there to s to help drive more creativity in how that story was told or what the costuming looked like or anything. It was just like, well, just whatever. Just we've got the money, just go out and do this, right? And so it just gets completely out of control. And they get to a point where, yeah, now these budgets are so inflated, they're so ridiculous that we go in filming a movie, having no idea what the script is, no idea exactly what shots we're gonna need or when we're gonna need them, no idea exactly how we're gonna use special effects or where. They just go in and they shoot a whole bunch of crap, and then they say, we'll fix it in post. And so then they spend way past their budget with all the special effects shots they have to put together, and they've got so much to do that the special effects shots can't be done correctly. There's not enough time, there's not enough workers. And so then all these special effects shots they were depending on to tell their story look like garbage. And then they, put out a film that not only is it this absolute mishmash garbage, it makes no sense and it looks ugly as hell too. Right? And that's all we get these days. That's it.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that this is like a bullshit article. Sorry,
Yeah,
Sean.
it's
And we've seen,
absolutely
I'm
ridiculous.
so sick of them that we've been getting these articles over and over again for about 7 years. Just accept responsibility. It used to be that let's say a studio puts out a stinker. I think that everybody understood it was a stinker, and the studio understood it, and that was it. Sure, sometimes maybe at board meetings, whatever, you try to put a positive spin, but I think that if something was a failure, everybody kind of understood it was and accepted it. These days, nobody will accept that they could have done anything bad. Everything they did is the best thing ever, and you're a stupid idiot for not watching their show. And I'm just tired of it. Anybody with a real job can't just go to your job and like everything that happens say, well, like if you work at a restaurant or you at a fast food chain and there's something wrong, can you keep saying, oh, it's the customers, I hate the customers, like it's their fault that the food came late or whatever. You would say that to your boss, you'd get fired in 5 seconds. Like these
Mhm.
people think that they can just continue to make up all these stories, and they spend more time and energy in trying to do PR spins to make their failing projects look like success rather than just invest time and energy into a good movie or show. Like, I swear that Kathleen Kennedy has spent more time
Yeah.
trying to find people to blame for her failures than actually sitting down and thinking, well, if I keep failing, what can I do differently that will cause me not to fail?
Yeah. Well, we know full well that it's not about the money. It's about the
It's
message,
about sending a
right?
message.
That's
Yeah,
about
sorry, I've
sending a
been
message. Yeah, it's
sorry for all
ridiculous.
this ranting, Professor.
No,
You
no, you're fine. As if there's anything to rant about. I mean, God, the state of all of these IPs that, many of us grew up loving. Doctor Who is something I came to very late. I really didn't discover Doctor Who until it was in the Matt Smith era, when it was on a channel that I had and I could watch it and started following it as they were, working their way up to the 50th and started working my way back to watch previous Doctors and eventually got all the way back and started watching, the original series, all the way from, Hartnell up through, everybody all the way to the end. And I really, really enjoy Doctor Who for everything that it's worth. It's kind of funny in the chat. Darren M was mentioning uh, Douglas Adams writing for Doctor Who. The episodes that we were watching just the other day, some of the early episodes that we were watching were the Pirate Planet, because I knew my son has read the Hitchhiker's Guide books, and I've had a hard time getting him to actually sort of tune in and pay attention to some old Doctor Who. because he's just not down with the old episodes and the sort of cheesy looking stuff. But Pirate Planet was one that was written by Douglas Adams, and so I was like, "Hey, check this out. Oh, look, who's the writer on this?" He goes, "What? He wrote Doctor Who?" So I actually got him to watch an episode. He still wasn't particularly impressed. It is a pretty corny episode, but or
I like the
corny
classic
series.
Who, yeah.
Oh no, I love Classic Who. It's one of those things that I can kind of like just sort of put on and just have it on in the background, have it on while I'm trying
The
to
Pit and the Pendulum is another one I love.
sit and relax. Uh, oh,
Uh,
they're talking about horror films. Yeah, they're
oh,
talking about
okay,
some
I don't know.
classic
Ti
horror.
Timmy's was saying the
Uh,
problem is Price Disney is a corporate entity, so they can keep getting away with it. Unfortunately, you're probably right.
is true. Yeah. Uh,
Halloween, Friday the 13th, Part 3. I don't know what this conversation is about, but
yeah,
as
they started talking about horror movies. They're wondering what some of our favorite horror movies
I
were.
was always very impressed at the end of Friday the 13th Part 2 when, the girl that survived that whole, experience, she was able to trick Jason by putting on his mom's dirty sweater, and then he was confused because he thought that his mother was talking to him, but it actually wasn't his mother, it was some girl pretending to be his mother, and then she chops his head off. But then when it seems like she managed to beat him, she falls asleep, and then the next day he jumps through the window, and that's it. And interestingly, the third movie starts with her being taken into an ambulance, but then you never hear or see her or hear from her again. I don't know why I knew all of this, Professor.
Yes, yeah. Truth be told, I've never been a fan of horror. I
I
don't
know you told
care
me this
for them.
sometime. You
I
know,
don't. If you want me to pick a favorite horror movie, Student Bodies. If you've ever
I don't
seen
even know what that is.
that, it's an absolutely awful uh movie. It's a horror movie, but it's a comedy, and it makes fun of the whole slasher genre. It is it's bad, but it's one of those where like it's so bad it's actually kind of funny and amusing. Yeah. It was back in 19 or it was in the early 80s actually. Student Bodies. Yeah. You had the killer in the movie was called the Breather because
Where
his signature is that he breathes really heavily in all the scenes where he's
I feel like I'm missing context, Adam Gray. Where is Corey Feldman bald? Have no
Ooh.
idea. Jason Webster says my favorite horror films: Tale of Two Sisters, Noriko's Diner's Table, The Thing. The Thing is excellent.
Oh,
Professor,
the thing is great. Yeah. No,
Alien,
that's one. Yeah.
Alien,
Oh yeah, Alien. Yeah, no question. Yeah. I don't mind some of those thrillers, especially if we're talking about more of a sci-fi
right? Exuma,
context for the
Ringu,
films.
The Fly. That's a good movie. Thirst, Fog,
You have to
and
fly. I've seen The Fog. I didn't really care that much for The Fog.
I didn't see The
Uh,
Fog, so I have
but
no idea.
yeah, the John Carpenter's The Thing. Well, and even the original, the classic film uh, for
What's
The
Event?
Thing is
Which one
also.
is Event Horizon? I feel like I.
Oh, that's one where they have the spaceship and they find it out on the edge of the solar system and they think it's been to another universe or something, and then they actually find out the other universe it went to was hell. And I couldn't care less for that film. I had a friend who was like, "This is the greatest thing ever. We got to watch." So I sat down and watched it. It was like, "Why did we have to watch?" I said, "Oh, it's the best. Oh, this is one of the best horror movies ever. It's so good." No,
You know what, Tim
thanks.
Hayes?
Didn't care.
I think that I've seen Friday the 13th Part 4 only a few times. I don't know why I've only seen it a few times. Was there was one that was like called The Final Chapter, and then there was another one called like A New Beginning. And there was a kid called Tommy that I think Corey Feldman plays him, and then he was played by 3 different actors in 3 consecutive movies, which really annoyed me. Like, I never like that. I never like that. Be consistent. Bring the actors back. I kind of hate it when they keep replacing the actor every movie. It's like a
And
pet
it's
peeve of
supposed to
mine.
be the same character. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like Make it a different character or bring back the same actor.
It's
Like,
a pet peeve
yeah,
of mine.
yeah, that is annoying.
Anyhow, I don't know how we got to all of this. You didn't like
Uh,
Halloween? Like, did you see Halloween at least?
yes, I've seen Halloween. I've seen quite a few of the slasher stuff from the 80s.
I thought it was
And
good, but I
yeah,
understand it's
I
not your
mean,
cup of
yeah,
tea.
they're just not my favorite. Like I get the actually I don't mind the slashers on genre so much because I think, a lot of those, I think there's a tongue-in-cheek element to them where it's kind of like, yeah, we know this is pretty corny, right? It's all about like the really creative kills and Nightmare on Elm Street, where you get the really crazy stuff happening with
I thought,
Freddy.
I think A Nightmare on Elm Street was fun. Those are like funny
Yeah,
movies.
and that's what I'm saying. Like there's more of a tongue in cheek element to it where it's you recognize that this is pretty ridiculous, and
I don't know if
we're
the
just
thing is
having fun with the absurdity of the craziness of the kills and everything that's happening, the goriness of it, and we know it's over the top. That's the point. It's supposed to be absurd and over the top. Like I can enjoy that, but yeah, a lot of horror movies, thrillers, especially when you get to the more modern stuff where it's all body horror and stuff like that. It's like, this,
yeah,
no, thank you. Just
I
not
agree. I
interested.
kind of
Not
agree with
interested.
you. Darren M says that I don't know, The Thing is such a good movie, I barely even consider it like a horror movie. It is more of a science fiction movie, but it
Yeah.
is a fantastic movie.
Oh,
It's
yeah, it's
strange.
incredible.
It's strange to me. I mean, it's not really strange because that's what happens when you do something that's like ahead of your time. That when John Carpenter made The Thing and it was released to theaters, like critics and audience, they were like, "Oh, it's crappy, it's terrible." The fact that that movie came out and anybody could say that about it is just shows that people are sometimes stupid. But I understand because I'm usually the kind of guy that I'm not saying I don't know if always, but most of the time I'll be the guy that'll spot something good much sooner than other people. So I know that feeling that you know that it's good and people just need to catch up. Audiences sometimes are kind of stupid. They just don't
Yeah.
realize. I feel
You
like
know
the kind
what?
of people that we hang out, we know when it's good, but
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of kind of normies that they're stupid and they just don't. I don't know. That's not nice of me.
Yeah.
I take that back.
Adam Gray was saying, yeah, everything torture porn these days. It's like, no thanks.
I
I'm
don't
not
wanna say that normies are
not
stupid.
interested.
I take that back. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that sometimes normies just they don't know.
Yeah. One thing I still love about the thing. I mean, there's a lot to love about that. The special effects, the practical effects that are done for the different alien characters in that are fantastic. There's so much about it. The paranoia that's built up in the story. It all works so well, so good. But just one of the things I think is so clever, remember that there's a part in the film where quite literally the entire film will be ruined for you if you speak Norwegian. Because the guy hunting the dog, chasing the dog down in the helicopter, gets out, and in Norwegian, they don't subtitle it, right? He just gets out and is yelling in but if you actually were to translate it, if you spoke Norwegian, he basically gives away the whole plot of the rest of the film. And I was like, that's incredibly clever. Like, he tells you right up front what's happening, but just like the people who are in the situation in the film, you don't actually know what he's saying. He's just, it sounds like he's ranting and raving and screaming about this dog or whatever. You
But
don't understand that
but
he's
anybody that
actually.
watched it that understood what he was saying, he basically spoiled the movie.
Yeah. He said it's not a dog. It's something. It's a monster. It's not a dog. Like, he told them, like, right up front what was going on. So yeah,
That's
it's
so
pretty.
funny that the character says it and then but did people in that country know that they realized that they were spoiled? Did you ever hear anything more about it?
I mean, I would imagine there were people, yeah, that did speak Norwegian were like, oh yeah, I can't remember what the exact dialogue is, but yeah, he basically says that's not a dog, it's a thing. I have to stop it or something like that. Yeah. So he tells them that
Interesting.
it's an alien creature. essentially straight
I didn't realize
right up
that.
front. Yep.
By the way, what was on our docket here? There was something with Call of Duty. Did you see that?
About the film and who was gonna be
Taylor
doing the
Sheridan is
writing?
gonna make.
Yes, I saw that. That's fascinating. Is that gonna be part of this new deal
It
that
could be,
we
yeah.
have?
I was wondering
Um,
if you
let me see. Let
you're
me
better at
see.
this. What you think this Call of Duty movie is gonna look like.
Well, hopefully with someone like Taylor Sheridan, being, in charge here, maybe we'll get, Sydney Sweeney in it. That would be nice. I'm sure everyone in the chat, would agree. But yeah, we're getting Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg that are gonna be in charge of writing this. So, let me see. I think I've got another tab to share here. We can look at this. This is a good old disgusting film here. Uh, but yeah, Taylor Sheridan, Peter Berg are developing a live action Call of Duty movie. Sheridan will co-write the film with Berg, and just so far that's all we have. I don't know if there was a more detailed story on deadline. I would have to look and see, but yeah, I would hope that they would be able to do some justice with this. Obviously, Sheridan has been involved in a number of projects, very very similar types of projects. He was involved in Sicario. Uh, hopefully we could get something very gritty, very focused on the military action and everything that's going on, and have a really good story that we could explore in the film. A lot of times when we talk about doing video game adaptations, they're very, very shallow, and they can never, ever really capture what it is about the video game, because the video game is interactive. You're putting yourself in the role in those games. You're controlling the character. You can't get that with a movie. So trying to do a direct translation of that into a film often doesn't work, but then they also tend to go too far off the reservation. They go too far away from the original idea, and then it also falls apart, right? Uh, it's incredibly frustrating because there's been so many really great properties that have become really great IPs that have become, sort of these historically great video games properties, but when they try to translate those into film, it just falls apart. It just doesn't work. And with something like um Call of Duty, or Battlefield, those games, like, they are based in in our world more or less. So you would hope that they would be able to take what they know of the actual military operations and that kind of thing, and be able to take that and just translate that into some kind of story or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be directly based off events that happened in those games, but I don't know. Sheridan is a pretty fantastic writer. We've seen a lot of great work from him. I do wonder if this is part of his Paramount, NBC, Universal deal, although I didn't think that was supposed to start just yet. I think that
In
is not starting
2018, I think.
until, uh
2028.
well, the move that's the TV deal for NBC Universal, but the movie deal starts earlier. But I don't think that's actually until next summer. So I think so this is probably not part of that deal. But yeah, I mean I think they could make something interesting. Uh like I was saying, just kind of stick more to trying to tell, a very gritty, real, story dealing with, military operations, stuff happening, behind enemy lines and so on. I think they could tell something really interesting. So, uh, good luck to Sheridan here. I would love to see a great a property translated into film. I would prefer to see a Call of Duty movie that starts back in World War II, but then I find that period a lot more interesting than modern day warfare myself. But I don't know what they would do with it. I'm guessing Sheridan would probably do something more modern day.
Well, I mean, he's done some good things. I'd be curious to see what he does with it.
And he has done period pieces before. He's had the early uh like
I'm
what
still annoyed at him that sees
1923 and stuff like that, where they had some of the ones that happened in
I'm kind of
period
annoyed
times.
with the final season of Yellowstone. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
forgive Sheridan over that, but I think that if he took a movie and focused on that, he could probably do a good job.
Adam Gray says, "Put a chicken jockey in it and make it gay and lame."
Well, that's one way to go about it, yeah.
No, no. It's funny. I have mentioned this before, but my kids both really do enjoy Minecraft. They've had a lot of fun with that. It's a very creative game. I encourage that, but um, the uh, the movie, they both hated it. They couldn't stand. They thought it was just the dumbest thing they'd ever seen. They could not stand a Minecraft movie. So,
Well, it does look like a dumb movie. I haven't brought myself to watch it until this day. I still haven't
oh,
watched the Minecraft movie.
don't even bother. I
I
see
wanted
my
to. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, just my problem is I loathe Jack Black. I can't stand him anymore. He's had a few good roles here and there, some funny films. Today, he's just a parody of himself, and I don't want him in anything. He almost ruined the Mario Brothers movie for me, being the voice
Yeah,
of
I mean,
Bowser.
I think that he like sometimes you have a person that does a certain shtick and you see it so many times and at the end you kind of get sick of it and his personal antics don't help and I think
Yep.
that kind of have it. It's a shame because there was a time that I actually did like Jack Black and I met him once. He seemed nice enough, I guess, and I don't know. I really feel that in more recent years it's just kind of I had like Jack Black fatigue, but there's a certain thing that he does okay, but I do feel like over the years he's maybe done it a bit too much.
Yep. Yep, and,
I did used to like the I
I
have to say I
know
used to like him though.
exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, like, just getting, have seen did you say black fatigue? Is that what you said? I'm just
I said Jack Black,
Jack
fatigue,
Black
not Black.
fatigue. Oh, sorry.
No, but, you
No,
know,
but no, I have, Seth Rogen fatigue.
it's the same thing. Seth Rogen is the
Oh,
same thing with, Jack Black. I'd say out of the 3 that I'm about to say, like, I'm gonna say this one, he doesn't annoy me like those other people do, like, I would if I had to now, I'd prefer to watch him than the other 2 we just said, but Will Ferrell also, a lot of these guys, they have a certain shtick that they do, and I guess, like, sometimes I even like that shtick, but after seeing it so long and so many times, at the end, you just feel like maybe you've just seen it one time too many. I will say though that I think that if I had to watch a movie now with either Will Ferrell, Jack Black, or what was the third one? There was another one we just mentioned.
oh, Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen,
Yeah.
probably Will Ferrell. I'd prefer to watch over the other two now. I think that like
Yeah.
given the right setup, he would annoy me the least out of the three. Like
Yeah.
if you team him up with John C. Riley and give them a mildly decent script, I feel like they could still both make me at least chuckle here and there.
Maybe a little.
Like, I'll tell you what, there was a movie that everybody hated. It was the worst movie. They made it in more recent years called like Sherlock and Watson or something, and they made like some Sherlock Holmes movie. It was a terrible movie, but I'll tell you the truth. I think I was on a plane because it came and went from the theater so quickly that I didn't even see it. And then I was like on a plane and it was on. I feel like I was probably the only person that watched that movie and found myself on occasion chuckling. It was such a stupid movie, but there was at least moments just watching Will Ferrell and John C. Riley, and like it seemed like at least they were having fun, and somehow some of that ends up causing me a few chuckles, even though it was obviously a terrible movie. And I think that the problem is once they called it Sherlock and Watson, people thought that it would have at least something to do with Sherlock Holmes and Watson. It was so stupid and like they maybe that wasn't the right property to do that with that thing with that they were trying to do. I don't know if you
Mhm.
ever saw that movie.
No, I can't. I'm not even fine. Oh, Holmes and Watson. That's
Holmes
what
and
it was.
Watson.
Holmes
They
and
made
Watson.
something
Okay,
that
yeah.
he's sure like Will Ferrell's Sherlock Holmes and John C. Riley is Watson. It's almost like it's an intentionally bad like comedy. If you approach it thinking that they're really going to be Holmes and Watson and then you need to take this seriously, there's no way you can enjoy it. If you approach it thinking that this is like some stupid thing that they're both just chuckling and like having fun, then maybe you can accept it for some dumb thing. And I feel like on a plane when I saw it, I know nobody liked the movie, and I'll admit it wasn't a good movie. I still had a few chuckles. That's my 2 cents, yeah.
Yeah. Well, just say the director of that show, or of the director of Holmes and Watson. He's not completely lost as far as being successful in Hollywood. He did write that, but he also is credited for the screenplay on Tropic Thunder. So, he was good and bad.
Like
Yeah.
what I told you, I think that if you watch it, the problem is that I think there were people that really thought that this would be like an interesting play on Holmes and Watson when
Yeah.
it's like complete nonsensical improv with like Will Ferrell and John C. Riley that happen to be wearing like the clothes of Holmes and Watson. It's a movie that is so nonsensical, but again, if you approach it in the right way, I think that there is something mildly amusing about it. I will say that even if that's an unpopular decision or a thing. Tomahawk says, "Did you put Will Ferrell in the same sentence as Jack Black and Seth Rogen? They don't compare." Well, that's what I was saying. That I could still sit and watch a Will Ferrell movie and not like get super annoyed. Even a new one, like I still think he could do something that won't like offend me. Jack Black and Seth Rogen are annoying. Like they're actively annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. Like insufferable in a lot of ways.
They
Like I
almost like
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like they're the
Yeah.
reason why you don't watch a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Rogan, I just can't. I've heard that there's an Apple TV show about like productions in Hollywood and stuff. And I've heard numerous people say it's fantastic and that I should check it out. But I'm like, the lead is Seth Rogen. I don't
You know,
want
I watched a
anything to
few
do
of
with
those
it.
episodes and there was something that annoyed me about them and I'll tell you what it is. On one hand, it's like Seth Rogen sort of roasting Hollywood, but it's being done in kind of a way that he's also like, like a circle jerking type of thing where he's also roasting them, but also like patting himself on the back. And something about that whole situation annoys me. Maybe some people liked it. I watched a number of episodes, and I was more annoyed than happy. Like maybe here and there's a kernel of an idea that's interesting than maybe things that do happen in Hollywood, but I didn't find myself really laughing a lot because Seth Rogen, I thought he was annoying and just I didn't find the humor especially funny and I didn't find him especially funny. And like I said, it was somewhere sort of like he wants to make himself look good, but also Hollywood like he's joking or not joking. I don't know. I can't really explain it in words, but I didn't love it. I think it's overrated, that studio show. Mary White says, "What are your thoughts on Jim Carrey?" Listen, Jim Carrey, when I saw Ace Ventura, I absolutely that was it. Like Jim Carrey had a moment in time that I don't think there was somebody like funnier you could put on screen at that moment. And he really, when it comes to like impressions and like, getting into these type of weird characters, so good at it. Ace Ventura is a movie that until today I like. Liar Liar. Still like that movie. Still, if it's on, I like it. I generally don't dislike Jim Carrey. I feel like over the years, I don't know exactly what happened to him, and I don't know if he chose the best roles for himself or what he even does these days. But I still think that Carrey is a very, very talented guy. I think he's more talented than Jack Black, and I think he's more talented. Than Seth Rogen. I think he's more talented than both of those.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's really good. Uh, yeah, the some of the original, the earliest films that he did, like his physical comedy is absolutely astounding. Like how good he is at just making you laugh just by the way he's moving around in a scene or doing something. Like, is it ridiculous? Absolutely. I mean, Ace Ventura, both films are absolutely ridiculous. But that
Oh,
is the whole
ridiculous!
point. That's
The
the
more
whole point.
ridiculous, the better. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the whole point. They are supposed to be absurd. They're supposed to be ridiculous, and that's, what that's what you get, and it's fantastic. And he's had plenty of other stuff too. Even had some dramatic roles that were really solid. We got,
Spotless mind shuns sunshine of the
yes,
spotless
yes,
something,
Sunshine of the
whatever.
Spotless Mind, very good. What was
Andy
uh
Kaufman, whatever.
Yeah,
Man on
the
the
Man
Moon.
on the Moon,
Truman
yeah,
Show.
yeah, really solid. Truman Show was the one I was trying to think of, yeah. Where he's done, really, really solid work. Truman Show was the there were people just I remember just they were over the moon about Truman Show. I I was okay with it. I didn't think it was the best thing since sliced bread. Some people really loved that film.
It
I
was
thought
an interesting movie.
it was
I
okay. It had some interesting ideas. I didn't feel like it executed as well on some of those as I would have wanted, but it was an interesting idea. And Ed Harris and him both did have really good performances
They
in that
are what
film.
makes that movie. Meaning,
Exactly. Yeah.
if you didn't have like Ed Harris in his role and Jim Carrey in his role, that movie could have fallen flat completely. It's actually their performances that elevate the movie. And while there are ideas there, like you said, Professor, it's not necessarily the best movie as much as I think that they do provide you with something
Yes.
interesting to
Yeah.
watch there.
Yeah. Tomahawk 511 mentioned The Majestic. Yep, also very good film. Yep, and good performance from Carrie. But yeah, I think he's a really solid performer. Really good actor. And yeah, he's gone a little kooky
He is a bit kooky, yes.
in his later years, but I suppose that's not all that surprising. I think he's always been a little out there. Uh, so
E. Clay Thomason said Jim Carrey, like other comedians, got tired of being the funny man and wanted to be a serious actor like Robin Williams and Steve Martin.
yeah.
Robin Williams, I think was really his range. I'm not suggesting that Jim Carrey can't do it or Steve Martin can't or whatever, but Robin Williams could really go from being super funny to having a serious role. He could do it. I don't know
Oh,
how, but he could
absolutely.
totally do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Like at the drop of a dime, he convince you 100%. He drop the funny thing and completely go serious. Robin
Yeah.
Williams.
A Good Morning Vietnam. Uh,
Well, Good
I'm
Morning
trying to
Vietnam was a role that it was like tailored for him because you needed both. You needed the funny
yeah.
Robin Williams, but you
Yeah.
needed to be serious too. Him being both of them in that movie is really what made it like such a treat. But I'm
Yeah.
saying like you look at a movie like Good Will Hunting. He's not
Yes.
necessarily funny in
Yeah.
that movie. I think that's like a heartfelt role, but he's wonderful in that movie.
Yeah. Um, gosh, he was in so many things just his performances blew me away.
It's such a
It's
unique actor, Robin Williams. It feels kind
really
of
was. Yeah.
sad that the
Yeah.
way things ended with him, but
Yeah. Oh, so sad. I was heartbroken to hear, when he passed and when he got his diagnosis and everything. That was so sad. But yeah, what an incredible talent. And I think he was one of those. You get a lot of these comedians that are kind of tortured inside, right? And so they can go out and they've got that gear to turn on the comedy and the timing and put themselves out there to laugh with and to laugh at, and they enjoy that. But at the same time, there's some darkness, there's some stuff inside, so sort of a tortured soul kind of thing going on, that yeah, they can really turn that on when they want to. And yeah, there were a lot of times, a lot of films where you got to see that in his more dramatic roles. But yeah, just yeah, such a talent. I loved watching him. I was trying to remember what the movie that I was trying to think of. um I haven't seen it in forever. Um, Kind of a dark comedy. What is the name of that? Oh, Death to Smoochie. That's what I was thinking of.
wasn't Edward Norton in Death to Smoochie?
Yeah, Danny DeVito, Edward Norton.
Oh,
Um,
and Robin Williams. Now I remember.
yeah,
That's
Robin
a movie I haven't
Williams.
seen many times. I saw it once.
Yeah,
It's a pretty good movie,
yeah,
though.
yeah. It was. Yeah, it was very 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 dark comedy. Not everybody loved it, but I
Insomnia was
I
an interesting
enjoyed.
one. Do you remember
Yeah,
Insomnia?
I'm not sure I saw that one.
I'm trying to think. Is that Christopher Nolan? Who made Insomnia?
Let's see.
Let me see for a second. So it is Christopher Nolan,
Yeah, yeah,
and it
okay.
has Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank.
Hmm. I don't think I saw this one. This does not sound familiar.
Hard to believe, like this movie was with such great things. It's from 2002. It was made
Yeah,
on a $46 million budget. It made 113 million, so it's fine. I'm sure that and those days with DVDs or whatever, I'm sure it probably didn't lose money. It was fine, even the theatrical run. But imagine having, 3 Academy Award winners in the lead role and Christopher Nolan directing it, and
yeah,
somehow this isn't like a bigger hit than what it was. I think that I've seen it once many years ago, and I think that I liked it. But maybe one day I'll try to revisit it. Interested in seeing, how I what I would think of that movie now, because I thought it was actually pretty cool. I don't think Christopher Nolan wrote it, he just directed it. It was probably an early thing in Hollywood that just wants to get the work, but still kind of cool.
yeah.
Let's see for a second. So if I look on, Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't trust, but the reason I'm looking at it is that I think that back in the day, those kind of reviews are probably more trustworthy because these are reviews from like mostly from 2002, I think.
Yeah.
So the reviews gave it at the time 92, and the popcorn meter people gave it 77. Still not bad. Still not bad. But yeah, I haven't watched it in a minute. I'd be curious to watch it again. Thank you for reminding me, Professor, that this movie exists,
Oh,
and you've never even seen it.
and I'm there. Yeah, it's not one I've seen,
You
but yeah,
should totally watch it. I
that
mean,
would
it's like just
yeah.
just to put like a check mark that you've seen it, even if you don't like it, like you can't not see this.
Seeing the movie with all of these talents in this movie. What's the plot of this?
You know, this
An
is what I
LA
remember.
an LA detective chases a murder suspect in a remote Alaskan town. Okay.
I remember it very well. Basically, if I or not very well, I vaguely remember that Al Pacino, they bring him like Hilary Swank as this like inexperienced detective, and they're like, "You got to pay attention to him. He's like, an old, master or whatever it is." She's kind of like under his wing, and they're looking, and they are in some rural, some in the middle of nowhere, trying to look at some guy that they're trying to find for murder. It's I can't really remember every single detail, but, I remember liking the movie. That's all I can say is that I remember I watched it and I liked it, and oddly, I've never revisited the movie, but knowing the people involved, maybe I'd give it another chance sometime.
Mhm. Yeah. It's definitely got solid reviews.
It's got solid reviews, like, it's worth watching. What was I gonna say? I guess do you have anything is there anything that we missed? Is there anything that we didn't cover today? I was
Mm,
asking you.
no, I'm not, I don't think so.
Jason Webster says the Mountain Rushmore of comedy: Robin Williams, George Carlin, Rodney Dangerfield, Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair. Those are all really
That's
great.
pretty, yeah, I would say those are pretty solid. Yeah, Richard Pryor, my god. I don't know if I have ever laughed that hard. And I mean, he went hard on, when he did his sets with the racial comedy and stuff. Oh my goodness. Just he did not hold back. And of course, part of that was all the drugs, but he was
He was funny
incredible.
though, yeah.
George Carlin, amazing. Yeah,
Right.
observational stuff and humor. Yes, Robin Williams, so great.
And Rodney
Dangerfield.
Dangerfield was funny too.
Yeah, no, he really was, really was.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you something. People hate Superman 3, but I like it. And I was a kid and I saw Richard Pryor in the movie and he made me laugh. And that's what I remember from Superman 3. I also like Superman himself, but Superman, along with Richard Pryor, as a kid, I really enjoyed it. I know that later I watched it. It may not be the best movie. It's kind of corny and stupid. I understand. But as a kid, I will tell you that Superman 3, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And Richard Pryor, the part that people are like, "Oh, there was too much Richard Pryor." As a kid, Richard Pryor made me laugh in that movie. That's what I know.
Yep.
So
I would have to say I would have to replace Rodney Dangerfield with Steve
who
Martin for me.
y- you know,
I I
Steve Martin
love Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, I have a lot of respect for him. I can't really fault you for liking Steve Martin. The thing is though, you know, yeah, I don't really know what to say. Rodney Dangerfield though, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Steve Martin is also really good. I
Yeah.
can't take that away
Yeah.
from you,
Yeah.
especially,
And
you
I don't have a problem with someone saying, Rodney Dangerfield, putting him up there on top. An
they're both
amazing
really good.
comedian,
They're both really good.
crazy, crazy talented, very, very funny, very, very, very different acts, different shticks. I just, the Steve Martin is like I've just always loved him, his comedic timing, his performances. Uh, I've read his biography. I was fascinated to learn more
I
about
did
like
too, Molo.
why he stepped away from being a stand-up comedian. We're talking about a guy who was doing stand-up and selling out entire football stadiums. And then he just walked away from stand-up comedy, like just decided not gonna do it anymore. Right? It's wild that he would do that, and just hearing, learning all about his background and how he got into the business and how he evolved over time and decided what he wanted to do and how he wanted to change what he was doing and moved into making more films instead of doing stand-up. Like, I have so much respect for Steve Martin and some of the great work that he's done over the years, so, yeah.
By the way, Davian Donaldson says Richard Pryor is fantastic in The Toy. I agree. I like that movie. It has Jackie Gleason in it, and Jackie Gleason, his character is named US, like United States, his name is US, and he
Mhm.
has this like southern, much younger wife or something, and she keeps calling him you ass, but it sounds like she's calling him you ass, and it's sort of a running joke in the movie, and it's so stupid. I saw this as a kid, and just Richard Pryor in it also is it's such a funny movie. I remember as a kid, I really, really liked the toy.
So this I'm trying to remember because I think I have at least seen part of this. Richard Pryor is basically hired to be his best friend or something like
Something
that?
like that.
Yeah.
He they hire him, yeah, to sort of be his
Yeah, they,
friend.
like, pay him to be his friend or maybe his son's friend or something. Because I 'Cause I'm
Almost
pretty
like,
sure I've
yeah,
seen part of that. I don't ever think I've actually seen the whole movie, but I think I've
haven't
seen
seen it
part
in
of it.
years. I haven't seen it in years, but I did see it years ago and I liked it.
Yeah.
It's
Directed by Richard Donner. Okay.
it's sort of like a classic. I haven't watched it in many years, but I remember really liking the movie. Oh, it was directed by Richard Donner. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Uh,
saying. Yeah, yeah. And then looking at the, yeah, an underemployed reporter finds himself literally purchased as a toy for a rich, spoiled brat. Yeah, so that was the thing. Jackie Gleason hires his son or hires him to be like his son's friend, and basically like a toy. And so, yeah, okay, so yeah, I know I have seen at least part of this. It has been forever. I'm thinking I probably saw this on HBO in the late '80s or something. Uh, I do see I'm watching the trailer here, and it definitely I've seen this at some point, but it's been quite some time.
Jason Webster says Robin Williams was brilliant in Dead Poet Society, Good
Yep,
Morning Vietnam. Yes,
yep.
those are good movies. Awakenings,
Awakenings. Oh, heartbreaking film. Yes.
One
Yeah.
Hour Photo. I'm not sure. 1 Hour Photo. I don't know if I saw that one.
I
Insomnia,
never saw that one. I never saw that
but
one.
Insomnia, I did. That one's there. I
Yeah.
think he was good in Insomnia. Yeah. Uh, Pryor was supposed to be in Blazing Saddles, but he did some of the writing. Yeah, I don't know if maybe during those years he had a lot of issues, Richard Pryor, and maybe they for some reason I don't know why he didn't end up in the movie. He likely was supposed to be the sheriff, but at the end he wasn't. Uh, the guy that they chose did a phenomenal job. He died
Cleve
very
Cle
young, but I thought he did
Cleavon Little, yes, he does an incredible job in
incredible.
that
I mean,
film.
as much as I like Richard Pryor, I think that that I just can't imagine anybody else playing that role. I thought he was just perfect. And one
Yeah,
of the reasons you didn't see that actor is because he died at a very young age. I'm not sure.
yeah,
I don't remember what he died from, but yeah.
yeah.
But it worked out. Richard Pryor contributed to the writing, and I'm sure.
He, uh, Cleavon lived until 1990. He was 53, so he wasn't terribly old or terribly
Okay.
young, but
But
yeah,
I thought that he
he passed
relatively.
of colon cancer. Yeah,
What year did he die?
92.
I mean, and what year did Blazing Saddles come out?
Oh, Blazing Saddles would have been 74, 75, 74. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
74.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, he did live some time afterwards, but
Yeah, he mostly did TV roles after that. Um, he didn't do a lot of film. But he won some awards here and there. He also went back and did a lot of work on stage. So he that was one of his earliest things. I think he was a big stage performer. And so yeah, he went back and did a lot of work on Broadway. I believe he was in a few different musical productions over the years. So yeah, I think that was really kind of I think what he felt was his calling was the stage.
that's
So
cool. I thought he was
yeah.
great in Blazing Saddles.
Oh,
Samsung says
he's incredible. His timing is
perfect,
fantastic,
perfect,
and
and it's the
he
right vibe.
delivers. Oh
The
yes,
right
exactly.
vibe. He just comes like every scene that, especially where he's like
Yeah,
smiling when all those people are terrible. It's just funny. Samsung, Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks and Richard Pryor wrote it in their prime. That was definitely their prime. And
absolutely.
yeah, I think Professor. It looks like we're
Yeah, they're ready to pack it in for the evening.
It looks like it, yeah.
Yes, let me make sure we've got
Yvonne is great
our
in everything Adam Gray says.
lists up to date
Oh, if you
here.
wanna also plug, B-roll and all that stuff, and I'm gonna be there too, so
Oh yeah, Adam, throw those links up there. Uh,
you can also
just
tell
yeah.
people what they're going to watch, so just
Oh
so
yeah.
get people excited.
So let me make sure we've got everybody here. All right. There is our list
Okay,
for
for Rumble,
Rumble.
we have Istophobos, Phantom Monk, Elizabeth Quince, nice to see you back here, Empress NM, Double R Star, Darren Mai, Dude Rose F 420, cheers. The real Arthur Blake, not to be
Yes.
confused with the fake Arthur
The
Blake.
the artificial Arthur Blake. Over on YouTube, we were joined this evening by Adam Gray, Badfoot, Caleb Levine, Davion Donaldson, Darren M, E. Clay Thomason, FKHC 2005, Istophobos, Jason Webster, Jim Noxious, Jonathan Conroy, Keely Chow, Lasher, Marks 47, Marla Sharondoff, Mary White 2.0, Matthew McGee, Pete Roble, Robot Head, Samsung, The Dead Man, who also sent us several very generous super chats. We appreciate that. Tim Hayes, Tomahawk 511, Yitis, and Zune RJ5. So
Well,
yeah,
that sounds wonderful, Professor,
yeah,
and let people know about B-roll.
yeah, tomorrow night we'll be doing B-roll. We're watching some Vincent Price films, so or at least one we'll be watching tomorrow night. And Price will be joining us. Not Vincent Price, but Price of Reason will be joining us on the stream tomorrow night.
That is
And
true. What
so
time does it start?
we will be starting at 6 o'clock Pacific. So that would be
9 p.m. Eastern.
8 Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, that's when we'll be getting started. So I hope everyone has a good Halloween. I'll be out handing out candy right up until I come to join to join in with B-roll tomorrow night. But yeah, we'll hopefully we'll have a good time. We'll hang out and watch a movie, have a few laughs, maybe play a few games, and I hope everyone wants to come over and join us on either Rumble or on YouTube, or they also have a channel on Twitch and all those great places. So
Cool.
awesome.
So, I guess
Yeah,
if we've
I
already
think yeah,
I think we're
I,
good,
I
man.
think that's all for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining us. Always glad to see all of you in the chat. Glad to see you back, Elizabeth Quince. Glad to see you. Hope you had a great trip. And yeah, I think that's it for tonight. So thanks everybody. Take care.
Bye.